make a girl a promise. If you know you can't keep it. They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever Spartan I wanted. I did my research, watched as you became the soldier we needed you to be. Like the others, you were strong and swift and brave. A natural leader. But you had something they didn't. Something no one saw but me. Can you guess?
Welcome everybody to another. This is going to be a glorious episode of the Xbox Series podcast. Everything's been going really well in the background. Nobody's been smashing wine glasses and having all kinds of trouble in the background. So it's going to be a good show. Fortunately for all of us, Xbox have given us a showcase that, you know, there's been mixed reactions around the internet. Some people love it. Some people absolutely hate it. I've not actually encountered anybody that hates it, but we're going to pretend that those people exist and we're going to talk about it and have a good time. Gamzly is holding a really good pose, so we're going to ignore him for the time being. Make him hold it. Make him hold it. He's pressing that button to talk, but I don't want to. I'm going to go to Deadly Headley first. Deadly Headley, thank you for joining us again.
Hey, buddy.
How's your week been?
It's been good, thank you, mate. It's been really good. As always, like I seem to say every week, time moves way quicker than I expected it to. I'm more comfortable with, but it is already Thursday. I'm really glad that it's Thursday. And actually, if anything, I've kind of just been basking in the glory that Xbox had this weekend. Loving life and happy to be a gamer. So, yeah, feeling thank you, mate. How are you doing?
Awesome. Thank you for asking, because I did actually want to talk for a little bit longer before we get around to Gamzly. So keep holding it, Gamzly. Keep holding it. So I'm doing okay, despite the chaos that you may have witnessed in our little, I'll call it a green room. It's not really a green room, but you know, our pre-show area was a little bit chaotic, getting things working. But we're here. I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to it. Those that don't know, we have this Discord server with all kinds of fun things going on, but one of the things that happens is Chronic likes to capture still images of Gamzly's face to Photoshop into all kinds of weird places. So the longer that we can keep him frozen like this, the more stressed and strained his face gets, the better the Photoshop results will be. I think we've probably captured enough though. So Gamzly, how you doing?
Help me. I'm dying. Oh man, I'm doing great. What a showcase, guys. I'm so freaking excited. I'm guessing we're gonna still do the what we've been playing section just for like a little bit and then jump into it. But I'm super excited for this. Thank you for coming, guys, and please, this is gonna be a good one. So share it out and hit the like button and all that stuff. So
subscribe.
Yeah, let's get started.
If you haven't subscribed already, know that you're subscribed to the channel. Like button, shares, all that sort of stuff really helps us out. As long as you enjoy it. Obviously, I think we suck. Then, you know, don't tell anybody about
Still
it.
do it. Still do it. You know what I mean?
There's
a place for garbage.
It's fine. I think the dislike button helps us too, or it doesn't. It probably hurts our feelings, but it still probably fires us up the algorithm. So hit whichever buttons you want. If you want to hurt our feelings, then Thumb it down.
It's not like this window button. Don't do that. You have to stay here. You're not allowed to.
Yeah, and don't hit the button to whatever button that opens Ace's door. She's gonna spill coffee everywhere. Don't do that.
But honestly, the door to my room keeps on opening itself. There's a ghost in the house that's just pushing the door open, and each time I get up to fix the problem, I swing my microphone arm straight into all of my drinks cups. It's been a little bit of a disaster. This is why we are late. Not the whole reason, but it's the main reason. And with that,
the whole reason.
The whole reason. Yeah, it is. So, Gamzly, you want to talk about games, I can tell. You've been playing some stuff this week. Before we get into the showcase will make this a 17-hour show because there was a whole lot in there to talk about, and we are going to try and talk about, particularly on the Xbox show, basically all of it. But you've been playing some games in the meantime. What have you been playing?
Well, last week I was playing Octopath Traveler 1, and I re-beat that game because I was just having a great time. I didn't picked it up and I didn't stop. I just played every time for every work excursion, every lunchtime. I picked it up and I played. It's awesome. It even plays really well on cloud. That's like a super good cloud game. So I've been playing that. I beat that and I picked up Octopath Traveler 2. Now that was the whole point of picking up 1 and rebeating it, so I could remember how good it was and jump into the second. They have nothing to do with each other. There's slight nods and hints. Just like every other. Yes.
Have you put on extreme reverb? Deadly Headley, can you hear extreme reverb? Just coming through this and then, oh no, I'm getting a massive echo when you talk. So, Deadly Headley, tell us a story. I want to know if it happens with you as well.
We can talk about that. What you want? I am reverbing, but just for you.
Yeah.
Please excuse some technical difficulties.
keep doing that little tune for a second while I sort this out.
I don't really want to. Do you want me to talk about why I play? I kind of like Gamzly.
Yeah, let's go back to Gamzly. You finish up what you're talking about. It will be with a little bit of reverb, but we'll pretend that's deliberate for stylistic effect. He's being dramatic, and I'll try and sort it while he's telling you all about it.
Oh no, that sucks for you guys. Are you still getting it? Yeah. Okay. I've been playing Octopath Traveler 2. And it's just a great game. It's everything I hoped it would be because the characters are more interconnected as the first one. They all kind of, I mean, this one is all about going to find new people. So in the first place, to bring the main character along his journey. So, it's been working out pretty great. And besides that, I'm playing that little robot sushi game. It's called Rolling Hills. That's a fun one. I've been making sushi for people as a robot. That's fun. Yeah. It's been fun.
I'm going to do something drastic. No, it's not your fault. It's my fault. So just carry on talking as if nothing is wrong. So you've been making sushi in this robot game.
Correct.
And it's brilliant and you love it. This is a Game Pass thing, yeah?
Yes. Rolling Hills is in Game Pass. It's quite fun. So you start out on a little town and you're this sushi robot that owns a little sushi store and you serve people sushi. That's basically all you do. It's not as in depth as other games like what's it called? Dave the Diver. You know, you don't go out and get your food and all that stuff, but it's pretty comprehensive, straight to the point, and just a lovely time. I got addicted to it for a few hours, and I dropped it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Right, stuff's going to look a little bit weird for a minute while Deadly Headley talks, but I need to make it look a little bit weird for a minute. So, Deadly Headley, tell people what you've been playing, and people try not to get too caught up on the visuals.
Right, I'm going to have to take my time with this again. It's been one of those weeks I haven't played very much, but everybody in chat and everybody who watches the show regularly, and especially Gamzly and Asa, because this directly affects them. I've finally finished Hellblade 1. I still need to work on Hellblade 2, but I have finished Hellblade 1, which means that we are 50% of the way qualified to us actually being, well, more than 50%, because these guys have played through both games. I'm the one that's now having to play catch up because life is busy and hard and crazy and stressful, and it means that unfortunately I haven't been able to play very many games. But I have been trying to get better at that and enjoying more games. And it also seems like I'm sounding better now. So for anyone who's still with us after those technical difficulties, thank you. Yeah, I finished Hellblade 1. And I really, really enjoyed it. I actually really like the combat in it, to the point where I now want to do that comparison for myself, because I know that the combat changes slightly, possibly gets a little bit less complex or less sort of less busy, because it's consistently one-on-one rather than potentially having to juggle multiple enemies at the same time. So interesting to draw my own comparisons between Hellblade 1 and Hellblade 2 there. I really liked how the story played out. I didn't feel like actually too much had been taken from me in terms of having that initial recap served to me on Hellblade 2 before actually finishing Hellblade 1. I thought it was a really good story. Really excited to see what happens next on Senua's journey, because obviously I've already started that, so I've got a rough idea of, you know, the path that she's on now, but I obviously don't know where that goes. I totally understand why some people would go, I hate this game for making me feel a particular way or experience a particular thing to the point of frustration. And I definitely found myself going, man, I'm getting really pissed off with this game, like vocally out loud. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the I'm gonna try and not spoil anything, even though we are going to do a spoiler cast at some point. I loved the ending sequence. I love how it all came together. I love how she was able to, you know, almost literally face her inner demons. The fight scene that you go through at the end was fantastic. The music that accompanied that as well, really loved the vibe that it was building. There comes a point where you're pushing Senua to just fight for her life and keep going and keep going and keep going. And that sequence is just, it's so much fun and it's so satisfying to play. And I was really, really happy with how that game ended and the experience that I came away with. So yeah, I know I need to play some catch up and finish Hellblade 2. I'm going to try my best. Again, if you've listened before, I get distracted by photo mode a lot because it's really pretty and it's really creative and there's loads of cool stuff that you can do. And I've sort of come up with this idea for a short film that I want to make entirely in Hellblade using Hellblade's photo mode. There's definitely something that I want to have a play around with and sort of explore on my channel, but I don't even have the time to make the regular type of content that I like playing, let alone getting super experimental. But I talked before about being thoroughly impressed with Hellblade 2's photo mode, so I wanna have a play with it the next time I get into Hellblade 2. But after I finish the story, because I know we need to do the spoiler cast, and if I don't, Gamzly's going to lose his shit at me, and he already may lose his shit because he hasn't yet.
I've already lost my shit. What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a mocha.
Oh.
A little mocha. No mocha.
Cut the mic.
Cut the mocha.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm getting out of here.
Mocha.
Right. Peace, guys. It was nice. I'm going to go get Darge. 1 second. I'm back.
Delightful, by the way.
He didn't want to come out. What's up?
So I'm relieved that you finished Hellblade 1 because that was your homework for the last few weeks and you had been banned from playing anything else. I'm glad we can move on from that chapter in our lives and you can get some more games in as we go forward.
I haven't even played anything else. I tried. I couldn't because I was like, nah, Ace is going to be so pissed at me if I don't do this.
Episode 13, don't tell
I'm not
me.
emotional.
Don't tell me it's pronounced properly, all right? I don't want this Maca talk or Mocha talk or Matcha talk. I don't want it, all right? I don't believe it. I don't trust it.
One of those was correct, by the way. And it was the first one, in case that wasn't clear.
Some people are asking what the problem was with the audio. The problem was Gamzly's pronunciation of Mocha, and there's not a lot that I can do about that. The other problem that we had prior to that, immediately prior, is actually still ongoing for me. I'm hearing everything that they say with massive reverb, but hopefully if people that are there can confirm. I've heard people say Deadly Headley sounds fine now, and I can see Peter saying that Gamzly sounds cured as well. So I will put up with the massive reverb. I'm quite used to it from prior shows that I've done. Reverb is the norm, so I'm just going to grin and bear it and carry on, and we'll get into talking about this Xbox show, shall we?
Wait a second. Wait. Have you been playing Rolling Hills, Asa?
I have not played Rolling Hills, Gamzly.
Too busy with Brotato, I guess.
I've definitely not played any Brotato. I'm trying to think if anything that I've played actually falls within the space of the last week, because I missed the community game sessions at the weekend, which makes me a terrible person, I'm sure. But there were some other things. I don't know, Gamzly. It's been a dark
Final
week,
Fantasy?
dark and cloudy. Like loads of those last week. No World of Warcraft.
Final Fantasy 14.
No. It's been a dark week. Gameless. But this week I'm going to play loads. So ask me next week and I'll have a big old list of things that I've played for you. I've got Callisto Protocol lined up for in the very near future. I tried Sekiro,
That's
actually.
on Game Pass,
I did manage to
right?
get some Sekiro time in. That counts. Didn't go very well, but I did get some Sekiro time.
No, tell me about it. Come on, tell me about Sekiro.
I will tell you about Sekiro. Most people here, a lot of people here will have already played it. It's obviously a From Software game, renowned to be one of their most difficult. I don't know if that's true or not yet because I haven't got far enough into it, but it's very parry focused, and the combat against the little guys and the chickens feels brilliant. And then I got some stupid ass ogre with a homing dropkick, and I didn't enjoy him as much. I played Sekiro when I was in entirely the wrong mood. Like I say, I'm in the midst of a dark week, and I got really frustrated with the ogre's homing rugby tackles and drop kicks. Did kill him, but he's not even a real boss. So I thought, you know what? If I'm getting this frustrated against this stupid mini boss thing, I'm going to take a break and come back to it another time. It will happen soon. Gears when
Did you
says
play
painful
with 4
discourse
fingers?
soon. Yes. And maybe a few more besides.
Oh, damn,
yes,
you and your
Gamzly.
talents. All right, let's go. Whatever you want to call it. All right.
What we're going to do, we've got a lot of showcase to get through, and most of it we are going to focus on the Xbox One, because the Xbox One is the one that turned the most heads and got the most attention and had the biggest announcements, but there were other things going on as well. And just briefly before we get into the Xbox One, I want to give you the opportunity to bring up any highlights from across Summer Game Fest, Guerrilla Games Collective, all of these Devolver Digital, Ubisoft event, all of these other things that went on around it. Gamzly.
Okay, are we allowed to bring up some games from other platforms? Are we allowed to do that?
It's like brief enough, yeah.
As long as it's not The Last of Us. No, I'm kidding. I love that shit.
I've been playing The Last of wow. Okay. Anyways, so don't spit out your coffee, Asa. I'm really intrigued with Astrobot. Like, I'm really impressed by that trailer, and I'm very much impressed by Lego Horizon. I know this is an Xbox podcast, but I love those style of games. I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and I think Astrobot just captures a lot of that. There's a bunch of other games that have been in these showcases that I'm actually really, really interested with. Darge said it on the round table. Wizards of Legend 2, like I think I've spoken about it on this show, actually. But Wizards of Legend was a highlight for me, and my girlfriend and I played that like a ton. I think 50-ish hours. It's so fun. Wizards of Legend is so fun. If you're interested, go check out the demo. I'm pretty sure Steam has a demo out, maybe? I'm gonna double check that, but Wizards of Legend 1 was incredible, so go go pick that up. That's a really fun game. So I'm looking forward to the second one. There's a bunch of other ones. I don't have the list in front of me right now, but that's the ones that jump out to me at this very moment. How about you?
Well, not me, because like I say, I'm full of hate and rage and coffee. Deadly Headley. Talk to me about anything. Is there anything from the other showcases besides the Xbox One that jumped out at you?
Yeah, there's a few that. So the only other showcase that I've actually managed to properly watch has been Summer Games Fest, and I still need to catch up on the Ubisoft one and some of the deep dives that Xbox have done this week. So I'm looking forward to catching up on that tomorrow. Does mean that I'm probably going to have to lean on most likely Gamzly to guide us through that, as we seem to every week, because as I've said on Twitter and will continue to go on record, Gamzly is the backbone of this podcast. The amount of admin shit that he does to keep everything moving.
Yes, yes.
Asa makes it work. Asa's like the heart and the brains. I'm basically just the pretty...
He's not spilling his coffee.
Not even the pretty face, just a face that can show up and balance the other guys. But
just a totally beautiful face. Loves The Last of Us, at least.
Held together by them. I guess we can take points off for that, right? I fucking love that game. I will never apologize for that. I love The Last of Us. Anyway, that's going to get clipped. The standouts for me were, and this first one makes me sad because I don't even have a way of playing VR. But that Batman game, that makes me want a VR. That makes me want a VR setup. The Batman Arkham Shadow is a proper VR Batman game. Not that really lame one where you basically just get to look around the Batcave and be like, oh, this is cool. Let me poke at some gadgets. Like, it's none of that. It's like actual combat, like fisticuffs in VR.
That one's a good one. One's a good one. I forgot about that one.
Sick.
Yeah.
So that looks really cool. And I don't have a PC, so for anyone who listens to the show or hasn't listened to us before, I currently don't have a PC set up at all. These guys both do. I primarily play on Xbox, but also have a PS5 as well. I could look at PS5 VR, but I don't really want to. I think if I want to go for a VR setup, it would be as part of a future PC expansion plan, just to kind of make that as future-proof as I can. Obviously with a lot of guidance from Asa, because he knows his shit when it comes to VR. The Lego Horizon game looks cool. I can imagine actually having quite a lot of fun, like split screen on the Switch with my partner. That might be quite fun. Little local co-op stuff.
Not on your PlayStation 5?
The Switch.
Weird.
I could. I'd have to buy a second controller.
Weird.
It's just. I could do.
It's just the Last of Us box, right? I know.
It kind of is. And Spider-Man.
Asa hates his life at the moment. He's just hearing massive reverb of all the stuff he hates. But yeah.
Well, the console whirring we're not supposed to do on the podcast. Yeah, good job, guys. Good job. Skate was a big one for me. I loved Skate back in the day, so I'm really excited to see that's coming back. I know it's still very early on. There is a beta that I believe is coming to consoles this year. I want to say this summer, but we are in summer, so it might be a little bit later than that. It could be September. I can't remember. But there is a beta. You can sign up to it. I did that. You basically have to sign up as like an EA playtester through the Skate website. So if you are interested in that, you do want to go and check it out, you can do. And hopefully you'll get an invite to the console beta as and when that launches. I am a big Harry Potter fan. I wasn't like overly impressed with the showing of Quidditch Champions, but it is definitely something that I want to pick up and play. Interestingly, this one's actually launching day and date into PS Plus. So if you want to try it out but don't necessarily want to commit the money to it, and I'm guessing there's going to be some live service elements stuck in there a little bit, because I mean that IP is prime for milking cosmetics. And that microtransaction money. So
Quidditch is like a shit setup for a video game, though, no?
Yeah, so I remember liking the game, like the really old school Quidditch games, as a kid. But I was a child. My taste in games have evolved significantly for the most part, anyway. So yeah, I'm not sure. Like, we didn't really get a proper showing of what gameplay is going to be like. It was all, I need to see a little bit more of it. But as like because I'm a sucker for Game Pass, and I've talked on here before. Like, I may dip into Ubisoft Plus to try Star Wars Outlaws rather than fully committing to it. Because I have too many games to play. So, like, if I can dip in and try something and then go, yeah, you know what, I actually want to spend the money on this, I'm quite happy that I have that as a consumer. So that may be something that I explore. I think that was it from Summer Games Fest.
You just made me remember this Metal Slug Tactics game that also was announced. Dude, Metal Slug Tactics looks so freaking good. It looks too good to be true. If you're a Metal Slug fan, I mean, look at this thing. It's great. So that's also a trailer that I was very interested in, as well as there was Sworn. Sworn looked really good too. It's another roguelite kind of game, but I'm kind of burnt out of those at the moment. Like, I really wanted to try the demo for, what is it called? Oh my god, it's a roguelite Game Pass. Which one is this? It was at the showcase, I believe, too. Flintlock. Yeah, Flintlock was also shown in a good way, and it has a demo on Steam at the moment. So if you like roguelite games, you're in luck, guys. Looks
CPT,
awesome, but
awesome called this out, and I've written it down as well. Killer Bean looks that looks really fun.
It looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. I don't understand. But yeah, that's all I got. Asa, you got any like pics of any of these other showcases around the Xbox show that look quite interesting to you?
No, I don't.
No, just Killer Bean, huh? Killer Bean.
So, well, do you know, I didn't know the Flintlock was a roguelike, so you just immediately put me off of that one by saying that.
No, Souls-like.
Yeah, me too.
Souls-like. It's
Souls-like,
not roguelike.
Souls-light.
Souls-light.
Okay.
Sorry, I said
Souls-light.
roguelite. I'm sorry. It was Souls-light. My bad, guys. That was
that's
my
really
mistake.
I think Colt Eastwood actually made the same mistake on his show earlier this week before correcting himself. So you're actually in good company there. Mr. Eastwood also made a similar boo-boo. Or it might have been Mag, I don't know, but you're not the only one to have slipped up, so yeah.
Most importantly, it's not, though. There's hope for the game, because still the only roguelike that I actually enjoy is Hades, and probably Hades 2. It's not a genre, and there are an awful lot of them, just like there's an awful lot of Souls-like games, to be fair. Certain genres just get in vogue, and you get loads and loads of games that follow this template. But we're going to talk about a whole load of them, because I think it is time that we move on to the Xbox showcase. And the first game, perfect. That's Gamzly's overall rating for the Xbox showcase. High level. The Xbox showcase was perfect. Deadly Headley. I'm not actually going to do that. I'm not going to do an overall rating until after we've gone through all of the trailers. So we're going to begin on a sour note. We're going to begin on a game that nobody gives a shit about. It's an awful one, right? Because Xbox bravely opened the show. I'm being facetious. I don't care about it. A lot of other people do. Bravely opened the show with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That was a nice trailer, wasn't it?
I think, first of all, we've seen news this week that it was like the most watched Call of Duty trailer ever, or something like that. So it's clearly picked up good traction.
46 million.
That's insane. Is that where it's at right now?
Yeah, the last time I checked, around 46 million.
That's nuts. That's crazy. So yeah, really good showing for Call of Duty. Really good showing for Xbox and brand association with Call of Duty as well. Really, really positive stuff there. I saw some noises going up. Why would you open your show with Call of Duty if you're going to show it at the end? Call of Duty is the biggest IP on that list, to be clear. It is the most popular, it is the most played, it is the most valuable player on the field in terms of monthly active users, in terms of revenue generation for Microsoft, and going by the view count, which Wayne kindly has given us an updated one of 53,700,702 views as of record. It's been out less than a week.
That's nuts, dude.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy. So the visibility that's going to come with that, of that being in Game Pass, the positivity that we got from Phil Spencer and the sentiment towards Call of Duty being in Game Pass, it's not about making it easier for Xbox customers. It's more about giving, obviously there is a benefit of going, hey, Xbox guys, if you want to play this in Game Pass instead of paying full whack for it, feel free. We're happy that you're doing this. You should be happy that you're doing this. If you want to play it on another platform and you want to pay $70 for it, you do whatever you want to do, but we're going to give you the same experience everywhere. And I think it's a really positive message to kick the show off with. In terms of starting with Call of Duty, I think that makes sense. I know you're going to you cap off the show with the Call of Duty Direct, but for everyone who has shown up for, because this is really important, everyone who's shown up for Call of Duty, not for Xbox's showcase, they've shown up because they want to know more about Call of Duty. They're going to get a little teaser of Call of Duty at the start, and then they're going to get a deep dive at the end, which gives them a reason to stick around for the middle bit, which is basically Xbox's sales pitch to go, hey, we're putting Call of Duty in Game Pass. We're really fucking stoked about it. Here's all the other stuff that you get on Game Pass. And if you notice in that show, it was Game Pass reveal, Game Pass reveal, Game Pass reveal. It was relentless with the amount of content that it was putting into Game Pass. Mm-hmm. That is a really strong sales pitch for anybody who is showing up to find out about Call of Duty, not what Xbox is doing. They then very cleverly, I'm really sorry, I'm kind of just fucking summarizing the show. But they
what's going on
They
here?
then also put in some console hardware in there as well to tell all of those people, hey, and not to be that guy, I made a video talking about this, saying that they should do it. Just going to point that one out. If you want to go and find it, you can go on my channel, Headley on YouTube. Talking about how this is how you make it work. This is how you sell the thing. This is how you move more console units. You use Call of Duty, and they did. So very, very impressive start with how they did it. And I'm gonna stop talking about Call of Duty because there's a bunch of other shit that we need to do.
No, it's all good. I love your enthusiasm for Call of Duty because Ace is a robot and hates everything. So it's all good. He hates joy.
It's looking stronger than it has done in a really long time, and I'm happy for it. I think it's good for the brand. It's had a good showing, and I'm stoked about it. It's good. It's been a good week for Xbox fans.
Yeah. The Call of Duty. I'm going to keep this one brief. The Call of Duty reveal is very reminiscent of those old school 360 ads that the old school showcases that they used to have with opening with that stuff. They've done it before. I think Phil, I've said this before, Phil Spencer is trying to recreate those moments, and it's obvious, right? Just by what studios he has and what he's picked up and what he chooses to show. This is big. It showed up nicely, right? They showed it for every platform, right? It's PS4, it's cross-gen, right? Was that confirmed, Asa?
I actually didn't notice this time. It had been specified and confirmed beforehand, as far as I know, that it's cross-gen and on everything.
Okay.
I don't know why it's splashed up on this trailer.
It really leaked, but I assumed that it would be. Which is the thing I disagree with. Personally, I think they should have used that and that's where my YouTube video that I've made differs from exactly what they've done. I think you should have used that the new console hardware versions reveal as a bit of a springboard to go, hey, if you want all of that good shit that we've just shown you, plus that Call of Duty,
buy this.
It's only coming to this generation, buy our stuff.
I truly think it was a strong move. I didn't like it. I thought they were going to go bang, like in on the perfect dark thing right away, but it came later, so I'm happy about that. Yeah. Great showing. It looked awesome. And then, not to mention, we're going to talk about the direct after and what they showed there, but bringing back all the fan favorite stuff is very smart as well. And that's all I got to say. What a good start, or starts with a bang. So yeah.
So
Asa.
I do have a little bit more that I want to ask. Deadly Headley in particular seems more into the Call of Duty than Gamzly was there, so I'm going to ask you, Deadly Headley. But obviously they opened the show with it, and we know what it means in terms of marketing and brand and the recognition of Call of Duty and all of this kind of stuff that it does, and that's very true and very relevant. But the game itself and the trailer itself, I would say it was a very good looking trailer, but Call of Duty is always a game that trailers very well. So you could show me the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 trailer and the ones from years prior, and I would say every single one of them is a really impressive trailer. So it's quite hard for me to pull a separation in that one, but they did a developer direct afterwards. They did a deep dive that goes more into the features and the things that they're trying to do to set this one apart from the prior one. So was there anything in the developer direct that got you kind of more excited or disappointed or anything? Did you have any extra thoughts on the depth of it?
So I think I've talked before about how I'm not massively on Call of Duty. I'm not really a COD player, but I do quite like the campaigns. The thing that I found really interesting was the Omnimotion stuff that they revealed, which basically sort of gives players better flexibility of movement.
Oh man, that's going to be a double-edged sword, my friend. Yeah, that's going to be...
So part of the reason why I don't like Call of Duty multiplayer is because so many people dive bomb all the time, and that drives me crazy. I don't like that. I think it's really immersion breaking, and it's cheap. You look like a...
He's just rolling and spam diving everywhere. It looks like ridiculous. A bunch of weirdos.
It's such a coward's way out. It's a coward's way out of combat.
Yo, I loved it.
Come on, man, sack up.
Yeah, I loved the developers are like, yeah, our players are gonna love this. They're gonna hate this. They're gonna hate this so much. But to just butt in here, the prestige. I thought we were gonna talk about this later, but the prestige system is gigantic, right? I think that everybody that likes Call of Duty or liked Black Ops specifically, the prestige system is gigantic, and them doubled oh my god, doubling down on it is huge. And the ground zombies mode, and also the campaign follows the Black Ops, I believe, 2 campaign, which was the best. So they know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing. So yeah, it's impressive.
It's you're absolutely right that the Omnimotion thing it's like the most exciting thing that I saw in there, and like you say, absolutely a double-edged sword, because if you ever look at reasonably high-level Call of Duty gameplay, it is all about exploiting the movement systems that they put in every year. So I want them to be able to pursue Omnimotion and make it feel as responsive and fun to play as possible for a normal person. But I don't want to see what happens when people start exploiting jump spinning at the right angle whilst you reload and cancel to get a little movement boost, and just making it horrific for the rest of us. So I hope that it doesn't cause them harm when they do it. But that's more than enough Call of Duty for anyone. So we're going to move on to the next game. And I'm not going to be negative about it this one. It might be brilliant, it's going to be on Game Pass. We're going to try it. I might fall in love with a Call of Duty game. I'm not going to. That's a ridiculous notion. Doom the Dark Ages.
I tell you what, the game we can all fall in love with, Doom the Dark Ages.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to put the trailer up, but I'm going to let you talk about it, Deadly Headley, because I like that enthusiasm.
So,
and your hair. He just likes your hair.
Thanks. Basically, this game looks metal as fuck. It looks really, really cool. It looks just gnarly and gritty and just very, very polished. And I'm really interested to see Doom get taken in this direction. I've always liked Doom's aesthetic, and I've always liked his playstyle, but this just looks different and interesting, and I'm here for it. I'm here to try it. There's a lot of really interesting weapon mechanics that we've seen. The really gnarly weapon that's going to come up in a sec, where you basically take a skull is your ammo, and then your gun kind of like churns it up like a paper shredder, and then the ammunition that you actually fire is basically just skull shrapnel. I just fired at high velocity. It just looks so sick. So yeah, very, very excited.
Dude, it looks incredible. Listen, no, Asa, you don't talk. Shush. Listen to me. That trailer is the
So
best
tempted
trailer.
to mute you.
Don't do it, please. Don't.
You still got that reverb as well.
I do.
Poor guy. Poor guy. Just my horrifying laugh in his ears times 3. But yeah, the Doom, man. Wow. When he comes in with his like cape and his like freaking the fur, mantle and all that
Cape.
stuff. Oh man, what a
The little
pimp.
pimp coat.
Yeah. It's like, what are we doing? I'm all here for it. I love it. That
Awesome, man.
shield when he like goes all Captain America. Come on, man. Come on. And then he rides a dragon. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? In all the good ways, man. It was nuts. It was nuts. I think that was the one I watched the most just because it's so freaking wild. I loved it. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Game Pass 2, which is wild. It's wild. Anyway.
It's not though. It's Xbox's policy, man. That's the thing that's wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so I still I said this on Tuesday. I love the look of this particular Doom game, and it's not just the look of the trailer. The trailer does a lot right, but also the stuff that they've said about the gameplay, the stuff that they're shooting for to differentiate it from Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. They've said about looking back at the original Dooms and what made them good, and the kind of bullet hell, dodging of projectiles, all of these kind of things. So they want to slow it down a notch and make it feel less arena based. And if I had one criticism of Doom Eternal, is that it did feel like you were jumping from arena to arena. They're going a little bit more open with this one, and I love everything about it in that sense. But I still think the concept, the Slayer with his fur cape and all of the demons laughing around with medieval armor, is like an April Fool's Day sketch brought to life. Like they revealed this on April Fool's Day when, look, we're going to do a Doom and he's going to have a shield and they're all going to wear silly horned helmets and things. And then people loved it so much that they turned it into a real game. That's what this game is to me, but it is still metal as fuck and it still looks brilliant and I cannot wait to play it. So I say that
I
Totally
can.
okay with it.
but it is though, right? Like everything about it, like you're wearing your hell suit that you can wear in the vacuum of space, and you've got a pimp cape, and it's odd. it's just odd.
So good.
But they can do
It's
no
so
wrong with
good.
it. Yeah.
People wanted Xbox to be brave. What are you gonna do? It's
Yeah. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say like they go from arena to arena and that was like a down for you. I freaking love that Doom does that. I love that Doom. That is the strong suit of Doom. I'm actually I'm on the opposite end. I hope they keep it like that and not go more open dish. I think that's the charm of Doom. I thought that was the charm of God of War, right? The arena combat, like quick combat. I didn't care when God of War went the other direction. I actually, that's what I hate about those games, really. I wish God of War was just, swinging at a bunch of people. But yeah, I hope Doom stays focused and stays on Doom, like a very contained arena style shooter. But yeah.
Yeah, they're normally really specific with their like jump pads and motion within those little enclosed spaces as well, aren't they? So you're right, it is quite a signature part of it. I hope they don't move away from entirely. But yeah, looking forward to that one. Is anyone really upset or shocked that it's going to other consoles as well?
No.
not at all.
No, simple, and there's not really a lot else we need to say on that, is there?
Yeah, no, not at all. I think what I will say is that, like, if this was, I don't know, we teleport back to the 360 stage, and all of this is exclusive and all of Game Pass exists, man, I will say that Xbox would have been God mode because this was one hell of a show to structure exclusives and all that stuff around. But yeah. We're not in that world, so it doesn't matter.
I honestly, though, I think So there's a couple of things that came up in press events and things like that, and we might circle back to it. But I know Phil Spencer has already been clipped up in an interview he did with Ryan McCaffrey talking about how games are going to go to other platforms. If it means that it funds the banger of a showcase that we just got and the roadmap that Xbox has laid out, and that cadence is going to continue, and it's going to keep on prioritizing its Xbox customers by putting more games into Game Pass, I don't give a shit who plays what where. I don't care. Like, I get to play all of these games. I get to play them for 13 English pounds a month, which, if you don't know anything about the British economy, is fucking broken. And hopefully that's going to change very soon because we have an election. But this isn't a political show, so we're going to keep it as apolitical as we can. But the point is, a lot of people don't have a lot of money at the moment, and when Xbox is actively putting more content into a service like Game Pass that offers players a different way of playing their games rather than going down the traditional to £70 per title model, overall sacrificing the option of ownership for cheaper, more affordable access and flexibility, I think it's a win for customers personally. CPT, you know what? Thankfully, unlike our poor, disadvantaged billionaire Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, I actually didn't go without Sky TV. I was very privileged as a kid. It's not entirely true, but I was lucky enough to have Sky TV. I wasn't lucky enough to be sent to a private school and marry the daughter of an Indian tech billionaire, but shit happens, done it.
Hey, there's still time.
Anyway, back to games.
Back to games,
I hate
indeed.
You, Chronic. I hate you, Chronic. I'm dying, dude. Asa? Can we kick Chronic out of the chat? He's killing me, man.
He makes a lot of memes. You can't do that.
He's sending me memes right now.
What kind of memes is he sending?
I'm not sending these memes out. It's not. It's
Chronic,
not for.
Send them to me not on Discord because I can't use that right now. But send it to me on Twitter.
Don't do it, please.
And, they might make an appearance as we go.
I'll pay you whatever you want, Chronic. Don't do that. Anyway, go ahead, Asa.
Right, as we go then, let's go on to a game that I don't actually know what you two are going to think of this one. Doom was predictable. I know everybody loves that Doom trailer. Like, you can't not love that Doom trailer. But the next game that they showed, it gets a lot of love as well, but not as unanimously as Doom, and that's the State of Decay 3. Gamzly.
Oh man, dude. Okay, so I was reacting to this stuff on Rand's channel. I did the reactions with him, and he was not so high on it, but I loved it. Like, before the show, we did like little predictions, and I was like, look, all State of Decay 3 has to do is show up here and tell us that they fixed the minor issues, right? The issues that people had with this game is the tethering. It didn't look that pretty, and none of the deaths actually impacted you, right? You kind of just, whatever. They were basically stat sheets. And in this trailer, they checked off basically everything because we know how that game plays. We love it for it. We love that core gameplay. That's the whole point of State of Decay 3. And they gave me those little snippets of gameplay where, she's on the bus and then it kind of shifts camera, and obviously it's gameplay. And taking out these zombies. I mean, it looks so good. Like, visually, it looks pleasing. It looks much better than the other one, the second one. The environments look great. The effects look great. They have all the same enemy types. Like, this is like for fans of that series, and it's for the hardcore fans of that series because they have a very dedicated group of people that love that game and just want more State of Decay, and that this is what that is, right? They didn't have to show anything crazy and freaking, I don't know, planes and stuff. I don't know, like random stuff. They just needed to show us more State of Decay, and they needed to tell us it's not tethered, and that's the best part of that announcement, especially that Obsidian helped them with the server side. I love that. Yeah, give me State of Decay 3 right now. I love it. I can't wait to jump in with people here and or my brother. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Headley? What did you think of this one?
So I like the look of this game. I like how good the brief sort of snippets of what I think we can presume is gameplay, or at least close to. Looks really, really good. I like the sort of the storytelling that was done in the trailer as well, that we can see on screen now too. Like some really powerful stuff, and sort of speaks to the mood of your character having permadeath, and you sort of feeling like you're invested with the people that you are playing with and working with in this game. This actually makes me want to jump back into State of Decay 2. I picked up State of Decay 2. So I remember this is one of the first games that launched day and date into Game Pass, and I remember buying this outright, and a friend saying to me, "Dude, why didn't you just get it in Game Pass?" And I was like, "I haven't got Game Pass."
Yeah, dude.
And then I ended up getting Game Pass not that long after this came out, but I still own I actually think I got a disc. I may have sold it. I can't remember. Anyway, State of Decay 2 was one of those games where I liked the gameplay. I couldn't find the time to make the most out of it, and I found that quite frustrating. I remember at the time I was studying the first year of a graphic design degree while working full time as a junior designer, and basically just trying to sort of find my feet in the industry that I'm in now. So all free time, similarly to today, kind of just went out the fucking window. I need to take a good look at that, because there's clearly some sort of work-life balance that isn't working out. It might have something to do with my decision to become a content creator, but we'll park that to one side and then focus on the positives, which is I get to talk about games for. Anyway. I would like to find more time to get back into this, and if it means that we do some sort of community thing to really get that hype back for State of Decay, I'm here for it, because I think I really like the premise. Anyone who has been following me for some time will know how vocal I've been about being disappointed in Naughty Dog cancelling The Last of Us Online, because it was a game that I was really excited for. If State of Decay 3 fills that void that I was really hoping that The Last of Us Online would, I'm okay with that.
It's definitely a very different game to what we were told that was going to be, in terms of it being a cooperative survival affair. But
yes.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer's good, and the things that they've been talking about around the game suggest they really do understand the things that were missing or lacking in State of Decay 2. So they're going to address it in all of the right areas in terms of making encounters with zombies actually feel more fun to play than they did in that game. Making the deaths mean something, making the multiplayer shared world feel better, like the untethered sharing of a world with other players is exactly what people kind of envisage for the series. So they're going in the right direction. The trailer, the gameplay that's in it, they never show more than like 2 or 3 seconds, and it's like no HUD, very clean, but they very much blend it in with cutscenes. So you have to like really be paying attention to see the shift in presentation, to go, this bit, you can tell this is in engine. Oh, they just blended it back to cutscene. So I guess there's still a fair way to go before we actually get to play this. I don't know what the estimated release date is, but it means that it's very difficult to pass much judgment on how the game is actually looking, how it's coming along, besides the acknowledgement that they seem to understand what they need to do. From there, just hope that they do execute, because I like State of Decay 2. It launched in a bit of a rough state. I played it a bit later than that, and I thought it was a good game. Didn't play it enough to really get into it, like the depth of the systems that are in play.
Yeah,
but it was
I feel like I missed out there. I'd like to go back and actually just get a better idea of what I would be signing my time up for with State of Decay 3.
It's so good. Like, okay, like that's the problem with the second and the first is, the stories are very you have to search for it, right? And there's just a couple of cutscenes, and it's fine. It moves the story along. It's more about the people around you, and that's why I'm super excited about this game, is that they're really, it seems from the trailer, they're really addressing that stuff. Like, they're really adding more focus on the characters and the environment around you, and the stories that go along with it. And I think it's going to be awesome. You guys need to deep dive into it. Just for a weekend. Do a weekend. You're going to love that game, man. Grab somebody and go play it.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Maybe there's only so many weekends in the year, you know. But well, we can try it. Let's move on to one of the more controversial trailers of the showcase. It does have an accompanying gameplay reveal from a couple of days later that we can blend in as well. But the game is Dragon Age, the Veilguard. Deadly Headley, I think Gamzly's going to have a lot to say on this one. I'm going to ask you to go first. What did you think? Firstly, do you like Dragon Age as an IP? Does it mean anything to you? And what did you think of this trailer?
So I have not delved into the world of Dragon Age, and actually I was going to ask on this show which game you guys would recommend me starting with. Not that I can make any promises that it will happen anytime soon, because I still have Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield to get back to, and Cyberpunk, and
Origins.
I kind of want to play Diablo 4 again, and I need to do another, my monthly run of The Last of Us. That's really holding things up at the moment. But I know that I need to check out I need to check out the Dragon Age series at some point. I like the look and feel of it. The aesthetic and the vibe in the trailer really sort of perked my ears up, and I like the look and feel. I haven't really seen much of the feedback and controversy about it. I don't really, because I don't have an attachment to the series. Kind of just, I don't know. It is what it is. Gamzly, you're making faces. Where are you at on this? Tell me about.
Not at you.
I thought you were making them at Dragon Age. That's fine then.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Chat's killing me, man. Chat's killing my soul. He fucking put my profile as his profile. Oh my god, I hate it. Look at Fark.
Yeah, oh, fuck's sake.
I love you guys. Honestly, fantastic. I love you guys. Continue, Headley. I'm so sorry, but when I'm laughing, don't assume it's at you. It's at the chat.
Fine. So really, the point that I was trying to make is I don't have an attachment to Dragon Age. I'm not overly familiar with the series. I liked the art style, but even I got the impression that this was far removed from the typical expectation of Dragon Age. Am I right there? Am I wrong there? Is it tonally? Is it a shift from the series, or is it always been like this? Okay.
Well, that's a complicated question, because Origins is a little bit different than Inquisition, which is a little bit different. Like the tones differ, but definitely a tone shift from Inquisition and both. Yeah. Definitely
potentially a tone shift from the game itself, though. Like the trailer and the gameplay reveal don't necessarily align that closely.
Mm-hmm.
Go with it, Gamzly, though. Talk about it. Tell me about both.
Okay, well, first things first, like I'm a Origins fan. I didn't like when they started to make the series a little bit more action-y, right? I like the kind of pause action combat. I love that. It's just my type of style of game, and then it started to change a little bit and shift. And they tried to make it grander than it should be, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Inquisition, even though there is some, like, a lot of good stuff to love about that series. The lore is deep, the world is deep, the characters are awesome. They do what they do, right? This is awkward for me because I kind of like how this is a very, like, Final Fantasy versus Final Fantasy now type of deal with me. Is that I love Final Fantasy 16. Like, I do. I talk a lot of crap about it, but I love it. It's action combat that I really truly believe that is done well. But I'm a huge supporter of the first 6. I love the first 6. I love that turn-based combat, and this is like that. Like, it feels awkward to me. The tone, the combat changed completely. Not completely, but they made it more action, like, more action-based. I hate the UI. The UI, to me, is, like, devastatingly, like, it just takes the whole screen. You bring up that freaking weapon wheel, and it takes up the whole thing. You can have a weapon wheel, but keep it to a minimum if you can, please. Especially when you're showing off the gameplay. Yeah, there's just little things that I don't like, but I love at the same time. It's flashy, like when it's in combat sequence, when you're hitting the enemies, when everything's like bursting around you and the colors pop and all that stuff. It really is beautiful. But then when you're walking around, it just doesn't tonally feel like Dragon Age at all. It looks like, I don't know, it's weird. It's a little weird to me. That's why it's so decisive. It's very hard to critique it. Because there's a lot of good stuff there too, but yeah, I don't know. I'm half with it at the moment, and I believe from last episode of Roundtable, I think Asa's a little bit on that end as well. What did you think about the trailer?
So I don't know how much of it is my memory deceiving me, but I really like Dragon Age Origins, and I have in my memory that game was quite dark and grimy. And I look at this one, and I love the way that the colors pop, but it looks like a plasticine world at the same time. So really, really like gorgeous to look at in terms of just color composition, but it's not grimy in any way whatsoever. And I can't see this rendition of the world having that nasty blood magic focus that the first one had. The combat and things like that, in this trailer, it's very much looking like a very simplistic action game, but that doesn't mean that you can't. Like, the first game was an action game that had a tactical pause, right? And I think Inquisition let you do the tactical pause as well, probably the second one. So they could still...
Yeah, but they went farther away from it.
They did, yeah. But they could still harken back to it and include a lot of that for the people that want to play it in that way. Just looks so clean. I don't know what to make of it. It's hard to put it like really high on my list of most anticipated games in the way that I would want a Dragon Age game to be. But that's not to say that it looks bad. It just it's something different,
Yeah. Headley, I'm actually sorry to cut you. Origins would be the one I'd choose for you to play. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much you care about the graphical style of some games. I don't know if that's that stops you and detracts you. Origins is remastered, right, Asa? I believe. Or there's one that's...
I don't think so. I'm told that's actually really rough and difficult to get back into now. Origins.
Yeah,
I would actually, if I were to make a recommendation, I'd probably say go with Inquisition, particularly as a lead into this one. I would say Inquisition will stop you from getting to the position that I'm in, where you're like, oh, but I missed my Dragon Age.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad because you're coming off of Baldur's Gate, and yes, they are very different in their combat, but Origins has that feel to me, where things really do matter and the characters are awesome. But yeah, it's too bad. I would have said Origins, but he's right. If you care about that, if you care about how a thing looks, it is way better. Inquisition.
It definitely helps.
Just looks way better.
Sure.
Yeah. So jump in there. It's fun. It's a fun game. Anyway.
What I would say about it as well, the gameplay snippet, I'm not going to show the whole of it because I think it gets into some weird kind of spoiler territory that they probably shouldn't have shown in the opening, but it shows some of the conversations and the choice and consequence thing, and it's the least... Like, the most inconsequential choices get made in this conversation, because you get to this like pivotal moment where there's this guy with his big plan, gives you this choice on like, do you support his plan or do you oppose it? And the choice that they make in the gameplay scene is to oppose it. So your guy goes, I don't think you should do this, and the response is that you get told, that's nice, I'm doing it anyway. what kind of an RPG choice is this? Like, sure, some things should play out like that, but there is no consequence to that decision whatsoever.
Do you think they actually will? Because we know that this been through like a lot of hell, right? This has been through a lot of revisions. It was going to go more multiplayer focused, right? So there's a lot of that hovering around this game, which makes me sad. Probably couldn't go as deep as they wanted to on it. But do you think that this is obviously close to the beginning of the game? Do you think there's really hidden stuff like in Baldur's Gate 3 that could pop up depending on your stats? Or do you think this is like blanket 2 choices and that's it?
No, I reckon you'll probably still get... I mean, I think I've seen some snippets actually, because you do get to choose your background, whether you're like a Grey Warden or a whatever other kind of factions they have in Dragon Age, and there were choices based on on your kind of background story that you chose for yourself. It's more so that I don't know that they'll actually bend the path at all when you choose them, because the choices that we saw in the gameplay demo were like, you can make them and they very slightly change the dialogue, but the story moves in exactly the same direction, unrelenting.
Sad.
Like,
yeah,
but
that's
it's just the intro
part.
sequence, so it's one of those things that's still like open to wait and see. But it was a strange thing to show, to demo in the RPG kind of side of it.
Visually, it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's so
lighting and textures, environment design. Really nice.
That's the
so
sad
clean,
thing
though.
about it, because that's the sad thing about it. When it's in action, when you're in combat, it's like, whoa, what is going on? And everything's popping and it's really awesome. But yeah, and then when they're freaking walking around and they zoom in on their faces, it's awkward. It definitely looks like something they were gonna sell to you as a kind of microtransaction, multiplayer kind of game that they were targeting at first. I truly believe that, but I think that had a lot of influence on how this thing looks.
Is it weird?
But that's just my opinion.
Character design kind of gives that away for me, and I don't really know how to describe it. It's ever so slightly geared towards a younger audience.
Yeah, or a varied audience,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's Dragon Age.
Yeah, there's more games to talk about, aren't there? I forgot. What was next then? Let's have a look. So we've had Dragon Age. Yeah, we are going to probably just speed it up a little bit. So Starfield, Shattered Space. Deadly Headley, you're a big Starfield guy. You've been playing it recently. You didn't want to wait for Shattered Space. Did this trailer move you?
Oh yeah, it really, really did. I was actually really impressed with the kind of vibe that this trailer brought to the table, because I think Starfield's original marketing felt quite sort of hopeful and optimistic and full of wonder and exploration and mystery, and this the trailer for Shattered Space gave a very, very different vibe. It was more of like a sci-fi horror, kind of darker, bigger, bolder, more kind of action-led, very heavily story-driven narrative piece for Starfield. I'm really, really looking forward to this. I don't really know much about it or the lore. I think that's really kind of up for players to go and explore and delve deeper into. But yeah, I was really impressed with the showing of this. I think it looks really, really good. And on top of that, the team also announced that they're doing a little June update as well. So there is actually a short deep dive that you can find on YouTube for that too. But I think the top lines for it are they have introduced new locations, new gear, new bounties, and they've launched the creation kit content. Also, if you bought the premium or deluxe versions of the game, and that includes the deluxe upgrade if you've gone through the Game Pass route like I did, by the way, and then paid for the upgrade, the 30 quid upgrade or something, to play it a little bit early, get the Shattered Space content, you actually get 1,000 creation kit credits, which, if you didn't know, and this is actually quite new for me as well, but the creation kit or the creation content is stuff that has been curated and approved by Bethesda and has like basically a microtransaction charge to it. There's a lot of free content in there, so don't think that it's all paid for content, but there is some paid for content in there. I haven't tried any of it yet, but it's all sort of heavily user-based, user-driven content. But there is some official Bethesda stuff in there as well, which I think is what they're charging for mainly. Not fully across the detail on that, but obviously go and check it out for yourself and see what's on offer. I haven't yet tried any of the mods on console. I'm kind of reluctant to, because I haven't really felt the need to mod my save. I could go and start a new save and start modding that maybe, but I'd quite like to keep the save that I've built intact. because really the number one thing that I would have wanted to mod, and now don't need to, is a 60 FPS mode. There's a bunch of other stuff that I want to experiment and mod with on Starfield, but for the playthrough that I'm going through at the moment, I've said here before on the podcast, I haven't massively. I'm not a big achievement hunter. I kind of care about achievements on the save that I've built in Starfield because I spent a lot of time in it. So if I can play the game without, corrupting that by adding mods in, I'm going to keep doing that.
Dude, this made me so happy. Like, this DLC made me so happy. First of all, can I do my thing? Are you done?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Jump in. Speak on it.
I love Starfield. I did 3 playthroughs, right? So I haven't seen nothing yet, right? There's some things that pop up and people, will tell you over and over again, 3, 2, 1 playthrough is not enough to experience this game. And if it grabs you for 50 runs, good. If it doesn't, I guess that's too bad. But the biggest thing about this game and the biggest stories that I loved is what they didn't kind of show you. And they do this like old Star Wars trick where they show you just enough to get your brain going. And House Varun is one of those things, right? They give you just enough House Varun in the regular Starfield, like through Andreja. What's her name? Oh my god,
it is
companion.
Andreja.
Yeah.
So this is the companion story that I haven't done yet. So I'm interested to get to the page that you're on, because I it's one of the only ones I got left to do.
They give you just enough with her, and she's that Obi-Wan baby. She just gives you nice little snippets of good storytelling, and I mean the whole game does that, right? With the NASA thing and spoiler alert and all that stuff and the wars, and they do a great job with story telling in the environment and through little snippets of dialogue. I can't wait. Like, this looks crazy. This looks really cool. The lighting was impressive. The creation kit. Listen, guys, this is what the community has been waiting for. The planets that are desolate and boring are about to get really fun, baby, because there's going to be a bunch of people modding this thing. I can't wait. This was a highlight for me. I'm not going to put it on the top 10 because there's just so much in this showcase, but yeah. I'm ready.
Not in the top 10. It's not a highlight. You can't have more than 10 highlights from this showcase, I'm afraid. So you have to drop it from that little list. And Gamzly, I'm going to go.
Cute when you're a jerk.
I am a jerk.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm concerned because that was the 6th thing on the list, and I'm not sure we're going to get to Gears of War at this rate. But Fallout 76. I'm going to go straight to you, Gamzly, because you actually like Fallout 76.
Yeah, hey, listen. Okay, you guys are all wrong. 76 is amazing. I actually don't care about this trailer. I like the all I'm gonna say about it is I like the tone. I've played a lot of 76 and I think I'm done with that whole thing. There's a certain point where I get with live service games that I just drop it forever. It doesn't matter how good or like amazing your product looks, like your DLC. It's just at some point after 150 hours, whatever, I'm just done and I'm ready for a new thing, like a completely new thing, a completely new look and experience. So I'm at that point with this game. I deep dive into this when there was nothing in there, right? So I got overloaded when I went back. I went through as much as I could. I got to the nukes and all that stuff, and then I dropped it again, and I don't think I'm going to go back. But it was a really fun... I just love the vibe that this team goes for. I love Fallout and the vibe it gives out. Yeah, maybe in season 2, season 2 of the show, I'll hop into this again. And I think it's meant to do that, So, yeah. Looks fun. It looks charming, as Fallout always does.
Yeah, that charming, delightful post-apocalypse. Fallout 76, I don't care about at all. So, because they sell horrible things in the store that I don't like, so I can't touch that game. Deadly Heady, did you have anything you wanted on Fallout 76 before we go on to our next game?
No, I think so. I briefly dipped my toe into it, but I didn't get any like proper time to actually. I can't say I've played it. To be fair, that would be disingenuous if I'd said that I'd gotten as far as making a character and walking around for a little bit. I would like to jump back into it. The two big takeaways to take from the Fallout 76 update reveal are it's the first time they've expanded the map, so there is now more playable space, which means more stuff to do and more stuff to go and find, so that's cool. And the other thing that they revealed is that at some point in 2025 they are going to reveal they're going to release a ghoul as a playable character, so you can play as a ghoul. That's probably going to come with some sort of costs and benefits based on, you know, some of the themes that we've seen come out of the TV show and obviously to the wider lore in Fallout. I haven't really got anything else to say.
I really hope that rather than creating a ghoul, there's some event that takes place where your character can become one if you play your cards rightly or wrongly, which is very, very unlikely. Cool. It's going to be much more simple. You go into the character creator and select ghoul, but it would be neater if it was a thing that happens, an event that happens. Yeah, that is inflicted upon your character.
I hope it does. Yeah, I hope that happens.
It's too good to be
let's
true.
Move on to our next one, though. It is too good to be true. I'd like to see games like shoot for too good to be true, though. Our next game
like
is
Fable.
Definitely shooting for something new. Claire Obscure, Expedition 33. Had quite a striking trailer, if nothing else. Gamzly, you're making weird noises, so elaborate. Go to words.
Okay. Don't clip that, Chronic. I'll kill you. No, don't do that. Man. Okay. So, huge Final Fantasy guy. I said it on top. All right. Everybody's fantasizing about what this could, like a Final Fantasy could look like if it was modern and it had turn-based. This is one of those things. This is like, the story is so cool. Like the premise is so cool. What is it? Like I don't know, this painter writes a number and then all these people at that age die or something and they're trying to find him to kill him to like stop the death or whatever. That's the only way that you can stop him. So cool. Like that. It's like Death Note in some weird way. I'm all in for this story. I'm all in for the art. The creatures look awesome. It has that Sea of Stars like combat if you hit the right buttons as you select the it's a turn-based game. So if you select, I don't know, attack and then you get a perfect attack when you hit the button prompt, does that type of thing that I find always engaging and you know, refreshes the genre a little bit. But if you're wondering how a turn-based old school RPG can look like in a modern time, this is definitely it, and this is definitely for you. This looks awesome. Just awesome. And I remember that there was a rumor going around that like tune in for an original, like a cool like RPG that might come out. I think this was it. I think they messed up in the wording, and I think this is what they meant by old school RPG, because it's literally an old school RPG but new, you know. And the leaks had no idea what they were talking about. Yeah, maybe, but I'm giving too much credit.
Odyssey or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm giving too much credit, but I can't help but think that that's what happened, because this is freaking cool. This harkens back to all those old school RPGs in a great way. So I'm all in on this stuff, baby. I'm buying this day one, even if it's in Game Pass. And it's in Game Pass, by the way, which is also insane.
Game Pass. Yeah.
Headley.
I didn't really have anything to add on this. No, so I'm not massively into turn-based, but I the exception for me has been Baldur's Gate 3. It looks really, really pretty. I was semi on board until I found out that it was turn-based, and that was kind of the thing that sort of put me off it.
But you're banned. Go play Last of Us.
Yeah, how are you only semi on board when the content up to that point was so good?
With this particular game, I'm on board with everything else that Xbox has shown, to be fair.
For me, this one looks phenomenal, and my only concern for it is the ambition is grand. It's a lot to live up to, because the spectacle that they're showing, they've got their central thread of a storyline with this painter at the end of it that you need to try and get to save the world and stop another age group disappearing when it refreshes and all the rest of it, and that's cool. And then they show you the trailer, and it visits spectacular places, incredible creatures, and all the rest of it. You've obviously got this massive level of detail in the voice acting, the motion capture, and all the rest of it. Like, it is a high budget affair. So to do it justice in size and scale, as well as keeping it as good looking and like all of the things that it's doing from a studio doing, as far as I know, their first game, I'm a little concerned that they might be biting off more than they can chew. But that is my only concern, because what I've seen of that trailer, I freaking love. I cannot wait to play that. And I hope that they can deliver on their grand ambition, because it is grand, it is pretty, it is intriguing, and I do like a turn-based game myself. So that one is high on my list. Looking forward to it. The next one is not high on my list, but it might be on yours. This is
God.
Oh, I can.
You're not that bothered by this?
South of Midnight. Deadly Headley, I've surprised you by
I don't
saying
want to hear
that.
this shit.
Tell me about it.
You have surprised me by saying that. So
Mute him.
So we briefly saw South of Midnight revealed last year with this really interesting looking stop motion style trailer, very distinctive art style, and just quite an interesting sort of tone and setting and theme. Still not really sure what this kind of world is, because it kind of blends this mixture of acceptable reality with these like fantastical creatures. Like, if you're watching the video or video on demand, don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way, that really does help us out. You can see this sort of big kind of talking fish. I love the art style of it. I think it's got a really charming art style. The frame rate execution is a bit of an interesting one, because correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like it's playing at 60 frames per second, but the frames have been purposefully staggered to look like it's got that sort of stop motion sort of feel, similar to something like Harold Halibut. It's kind of jarring. I don't fully love how that feels when I'm watching it, but the gameplay obviously looks a lot smoother and a lot cleaner. Overall, I think it's got a really charming vibe, though. Again, it's something that's launching straight into Game Pass. It's made by Compulsion Games, so it's a first party Xbox title. And I think the gameplay itself looks really, really cool. It's serving up that kind of open world, or at least semi-open world, third-person action adventure that Xbox sort of seemingly doesn't have enough of. But actually, if you look hard enough, there's actually quite a few. But yeah, I think this looks really nice.
Gamzly, you got a mouthful of food. You have to swallow it quick, because I want to know what you think of this game. Joking.
I tell you what, while you're
you.
swallowing your food, just
you
like
so
scooch
much.
back real quick and show us that nice shirt that you're wearing. Because that's a really nice shirt, but I need to see it again. I do need to see it again.
Asa and I
Okay.
are wearing. Asa and I are twinsing right now.
Are you matchy
Right?
matchy? Oh,
Yeah,
the odd
look.
one out.
Yeah,
Oh, well, you
but-
actually are. We're going to have to fix that. Asa, where can I go to fix that? For anyone who is
You
listening on
can't.
audio rather
Always
than
getting
audio,
what
by
it's
the way,
So-
I absolutely am. You can't take that segue away from me. Come on.
That was a perfect segue.
What's happening
Asa.
right now?
It was.
Deadly Headley has put this little merchandising opportunity on a plate for me. Unfortunately, it's not a real opportunity, because this t-shirt, for some reason, will not stay on the store. You cannot buy this t-shirt. If you want this, you're going to have to message me
no.
directly. I have to put it on the store every
Limited
single time.
edition merchandise.
Which is a shame,
Yes.
because it's a really nice one. But it's got a lovely like fading gradient down it. It's got all these lovely geometry and things like that, but it just will not stay on the store, and I do not know why. So you cannot get this t-shirt without being very close to me and asking very nicely.
Sorry about that, chat.
So-
Much like
But you can get
sold you a pack of lice.
but you can get a lot of other cool stuff on the store, so including
There are some
the
other
Gaming
nice things,
Arcadia stuff, yeah. So
Well,
So Gamzly, tell me about South of
South of
Midnight.
for trying to plug some content and some content in merch. Anyway,
South of Midnight. This okay. What I'm about to say might frustrate everyone in the world. This to me is comparable to how I felt when I played and watched the trailer of Kena Bridge of Spirits in a good way. So it has a good vibe. It has the same-ish vibes, not like the whole theme, but like the way the combat flows, the way the arenas look. Like if you go back to Kena and watch that trailer, like the same type of stuff happens. There's black goop everywhere, and then they kill a boss, and then the thing gets purified and whatever. So very Kena Bridge of Spirits to me. The gameplay, same feeling. I think it looks serviceable, but not incredible. But I can say that the art style for me is working a lot. I love that type of art style. I really do. So this Kena to me hit on a very personal note, story-wise as well, themes and everything. I love that game, and this looks like I'm gonna love it as well. It looks really cool. Yeah, I'm into it. The stop motion's pretty awesome when it's moving. You know, when you're kind of like running around and it's kind of cute and whatever. But off-putting at times. But I'm into it.
it depends on whether or not it comes through for gameplay. Like when the gameplay was being shown, I didn't see any of that. It looked like it was just running at a straight, smooth 60, no kind of stop motion stuff going on.
The stop motion is still there on the character model in the gameplay, but it's less prominent because it takes up so much less of the screen. So you've got all the scenery is moving nice and smooth and keeping it ticking over, whereas in the cutscenes there's not much movement of scenery. So the models are much more prominent and much more, to me, jarring. I actually found the stop motion effect on those characters really unpleasant to look at in the cutscenes. And I've watched the trailer since. I was talking about this on Tuesday and it upset people. And I've watched the trailer since on like a phone screen, and I've just seen it now on a regular sized monitor. And it's way less pronounced to me when I look at it smaller. But when I have it on a TV screen, which is how I'll play that game, I genuinely find that unpleasant to look at. So for me, absolutely require that be optional for that to be a nice game for me to play. And that's like, everyone's going to be different in the way they perceive things. I really found Bloodborne unpleasant to look at, which is obviously it's a PlayStation game, but a very well loved one, and that had some stuttery frame issues when you panned the camera around, and I found that unpleasant. I find this unpleasant in the same way when those characters are on screen and the cutscenes are playing out. And unpleasant isn't really something you want to take away from a game, so in that sense I'm disappointed. But I'm very much with Gamzly in that it instantly, what jumped out at me from the gameplay side of it was Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is coming to Xbox any day now. It has its own very unique presentation and was also received as like a kind of 7 out of 10 kind of game. That's how I'm seeing this one at the moment. I don't want to be really harsh, but I don't have reason to put more faith than that into Compulsion at this point in time based on their kind of previous and their history. So I want it to turn out really well. I like the setting. I like a lot of things that it's doing with its presentation, but not that stop motion. That's where I am with that particular game. So
yeah,
mixed bag,
and I know, mixed bag. I know a lot of people had this on the top of their list. A lot of but no hard feelings there. It's just I mean, it looks awesome. It looks like something new. It's varied in its themes. Yeah, let's get it in our hands. I can't wait, man.
I will say
Game
that,
Pass.
and I was just going to say, I say very often I do like that developers are allowed to pursue things that they're passionate about, things that they think will work, whether they will or not, rather than being like shoehorned into a particular presentation in a particular type of game. They are allowed to pursue this, and if it doesn't work out for me, then so be it. If it does work out for other people, I'm happy with that. Not every game is going to be for me. I wish we were segueing straight into Metal Gear Solid from there, because that was perfect. I freaking hate that, but we're not. We got World of Warcraft first.
I was just going to quickly shout out the music in South of Midnight was really nice in that showing as well. So I think that, especially from the impression that we got on the last trailer that we saw at the reveal at the last showcase, I think music's going to be a key theme running through South of Midnight, and I'm excited about that aspect for sure as well. World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft, which I assume you don't want to say much about, Deadly Headley, but Gamzly sure well. So they presented cinematics for World of Warcraft, and they really tried to hit nostalgia for the established player base by showing what it was essentially clips and snippets that were very reminiscent or directly taken from the previous cinematics. World of Warcraft cinematics are always really high caliber, really high quality, and this one is no different. I already kind of wanted to play World of Warcraft again. This trailer was just reminding me that I still do. Gamzly, did it hit you in the feels?
You and I have like a huge connection to this game. I mean, we go far back in it, right? Not you and I personally together, but we have our history with World of Warcraft, right, as does a ton of people. Yeah, man, it hit me. It always hits me. They're just on another level with this stuff. Like their hype trailers and how they lead into the stories and all that stuff. It's great. The world stone activating. Finally, we're gonna get some cool giant action. Maybe, hopefully. This is so cool. I love it. I love the voice. The voice acting is always on point. Like the voice acting is always incredible. But like you said, it's already sold us, right? World of Warcraft fans. All this does for us is reassure us. Oh yeah, or not even reassure, just remind us that, oh yeah, we do want to play this. But I'm not quite sure how it hits with everyone else, since none of this matters to them. Like,
do you think it was a right decision to put it in an Xbox show?
Yeah, well, that's. I think Asa was going to touch on that, because I don't know what this really does for everyone else, because none of this lands. It's an awkward thing, because it's so amazing. The game doesn't look like that, so it's not going to like grab eyes for that. It's all about the story and all about the things unfolding, and nobody understands the world stone and the sword coming out of the earth. Like, nobody knows what the hell's going on. It looks like an Avengers freaking. It looks like something weird, I don't know what this does for you, but for me, yeah, it hit.
It really specifically, as a trailer, targets people that have already played World of Warcraft, and that's that might seem silly, but World of Warcraft quite famously has a lot more people that have played it than currently play it. There is a massive audience of like 20 years worth of game of people that have played this and stopped at some point, people that played it during whatever their favorite expansion was, and this tries to call to every single era by showing things that will be familiar to every different period of time that players played it. But it doesn't, I think, do a lot to try and bring new players in, and it definitely, going by what people are saying in chat there, isn't doing a lot for the console people if they are planning to bring it there one day. So I don't know. That's it. That's World of Warcraft. It's still World of Warcraft. It's been World of Warcraft for a long time. It continues to be World of Warcraft. You can buy many pets for lots and lots of money. We're going to move on to something far worse.
Before you do, like, I will. No, don't do it. Before you, I will say this. Should have been. I get why it's here, but it kind of should be at a BlizzCon with a big console announcement. If it's gonna be an Xbox show, make it a console announcement. If not, save it for the BlizzCon or another thing. Everybody's gonna watch. If they're interested in WoW, they're gonna watch it on your channel. You don't need to have it here. But that's the only thing I'm gonna say.
Fair enough. I'm going to move on to the next trailer. This is the probably by far most not disappointing, because I was never excited about this one, but the worst game in the entirety of the showcase. It's Metal Gear Solid Delta. Come on, you telling me you like this one? Deadly Headley, you love some Metal Gear Solid.
So I I was never hugely attached to the Metal Gear Solid franchise, but I distinctly remember loving Snake Eater on the PS2. I'm excited for it coming back. I don't feel the nostalgia pull that some fans of the series might. I remember really loving Snake Eater, but I don't feel that kind of that urge inside me to go back into this game immediately isn't there. But I'd like to pick it up so that I can play through it again. I'm kind of indifferent to it being at the show. It's nice to see it, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's aged nearly as well as I remember.
How dare you two slanderous little fag?
All right,
This is Metal
jump
Gear.
in, Gamzly, because I'm.
Come
like,
on.
I don't hate it. Like I don't dislike it at all. I just don't remember. I don't
No, we're
feel
gonna go
as
into
captivated or enthusiastic about it as I remember feeling when I played Snake Eater. But
Listen, Deadly.
I want to play it.
We're gonna be console warriors for a second here. This is symbolic and awesome, and okay.
There it is. There it is. Tell us why this matters, Gamzly.
Yes. No, okay. First off, the franchise is dear to a lot of people's hearts. It is a great franchise. This game is amazing. I will say that it's a little bit generic looking, right? It's a little bit generic looking. I don't really like I don't like seeing. You saw nothing but Snake. You didn't see any other interesting character, which is it's okay that they're keeping those reveals for later and all that stuff. I know that game inside and out. But this hype wise didn't land for me as I wanted it to, like you two. But it's undeniable how much of a symbolic moment this is. This is big for Xbox and Konami and all that.
I was very
stuff.
hyped when this originally got released. I was really hyped about it. I was really excited to find out that Snake Eater specifically was being remade. I don't know why this didn't hit at the Xbox show. Probably because there were just so many other games that I was hyped about seeing and also looking forward to. Snake Eater, weirdly, despite it being a game that I have historically been excited for, and again, really loved the original on the PS2, was one of the slower moments of the show for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't, it doesn't mean it was a bad showing. Just
oh my god,
show was that
isn't
good.
that wild though? That's it. Isn't that wild? It's like we're talking
everything
about.
Else was up here. Everything else is up here, and Snake Eater's gone. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit about here. But
that's wild. It's wild, and it's so funny because it feels like Xbox just got this because they're like they're petty. They just got this to get this. It didn't need to be here. I'm with you guys. It didn't actually need to be here, but it showed out, and it's a great game to have on any stage. So yeah, get your heads out of your buttholes. All right, this is a great game. It's gonna be amazing. What didn't you like about it, Asa?
You know exactly what I don't like about it. It's a stealth game, and it's the worst kind of stealth. You're watching Snake go along, and there's a guard standing there, and he's doing like forward rolls and belly flops into piles of leaves, and like handling along a bridge, a gappy bridge, with a guard just like, oh, I'm oblivious to what's happening here. I freaking hate that kind of stealth. It's stupid.
I feel that rickety bridge,
guys,
just like
okay. Can we get a bunch of tomatoes in chat, please? Just spam tomatoes at this man, please. I'll pay you.
He's got a point about that bridge. Like, I'm sorry, there is no fucking way you would not feel someone.
Listen, in the original, you're running around in a box.
Bridge. That's bullshit.
You have a little box running around and stuff. Like, come on, it's not about that.
You're
It's
right.
goofy,
Okay,
it's
there's
wacky.
a lot of games that don't need to play on realism. I take your point. That's like a weird criticism, but I do not enjoy stealth games particularly, and that is very much a stealth game. The only nice thing that I can say about the whole of that game is that shadows in a forest are quite difficult to do. Lots of games fail in that and make the shadows look gross. They look quite nice in that game. That's the most positive thing I can give you about that game, and it's not a big one, I'm afraid. The next game I've not got a lot for you either, but not because I hate it, but just because I can't talk about it very much anymore, because we're on season 814 of Sea of Thieves?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I haven't got a lot to say on Sea of Thieves either. I think, and it doesn't sound like Gamzly does. So I guess, how about we just do this? Sea of Thieves had some really nice news this week. It was the most sold game in May on PlayStation in both the US and the EU. It is clearly doing very well. Xbox is making
your hatred heart.
It's not
There's your hatred heart. You slime ball.
Mate, I think it's good for Sea of Thieves. And again, I'm
huge.
gonna just very quickly reference a video that I did make recently talking about Halo, the idea of Halo going to PlayStation, whether or not that is quote unquote heresy, the pros and cons for that happening. Sea of Thieves, seen a fantastic reference from Boozy the Clown that we're going to circle back to when we get to Fable. Anyone who's a fan of Mitchell and Webb and Number Wang will know what's coming anyway. Lost my train of thought. Damn it, Boozy. Anyway, sorry.
Sea of Thieves dominates. Everything's amazing.
Sea of Thieves sold really well. It's clearly like it's clearly doing something right for Microsoft. Microsoft basically took a bit of a gamble with what we now know is called Project Latitude, which is their code name for putting their first-party games on other platforms. Microsoft wanted that third-party money. Microsoft got that third-party money by having Sea of Thieves be the best-selling game on PlayStation for all of May in 2 massive regions where it sells a hell of a lot of games. That's really good for Microsoft. That's really good for Microsoft's balance, and it's therefore really, really good for Xbox gamers who want more awesome content in Game Pass. You got to look at what you're getting, not what you perceive as being taken away from you, because the reality is nothing is being taken away from you.
It's just more content you don't want. Anyways, screw this Sea of Thieves. I have nothing good for the Sea of Thieves. No, I love Sea of Thieves. I love it.
I kind of do. I kind of like Sea of Thieves, but that trailer didn't do anything for me. And the concept of become a villain and having more freedom should do, but it just looked like a convoluted temporary get a ship that's not yours kind of weird thing. So that trailer didn't do a lot for me. The game is doing very well, so clearly it does a lot for a lot of other people. Next on the list, it's not a roguelike. It's Flintlock. Flintlock.
Flintlock.
The Siege of Dawn.
Fluid. Flintlock is awesome. Oh, my dog is talking. I'm sorry. Flintlock is... You know what, Deadly? You go ahead, because my dog has a lot to say at the moment. 1 second.
Okay. Sounds good. Asa, can we pull a trailer up just so I can get I know what it is, but a little...
The trailer is playing at the moment. You'll catch it in a second.
There we go. I could see it. Yes, so this has been teased a few times at showcases historically. For anyone listening, it's basically a third-person action-adventure / Souls-light game. Lots of leaning on melee combat, some gunplay, some magic stuff, and some really interesting traversal mechanics as well. This excitingly was announced as coming to Game Pass quite a while ago, but the best thing about sort of seeing this again at the showcase was the fact that we're going to be playing this in Game Pass on the
July 18th.
I did write it down. July 18th, which is like just over a month away. So yeah, there's going to be a really cool looking game that's coming out of Game Pass soon. Replicant in the chat very helpfully, thank you for that, mate, has said that there is a demo that's currently live on Steam. So if you are watching this and you have got a PC and this is something that you want to go and check out ahead of it coming on Game Pass, you can go and do that as well. But yeah, this is actually launching on PlayStation as well. I think it's a third party game that Microsoft have got a Game Pass deal with effectively, right? But yeah, that's coming in a Game Pass soon. It looks really cool. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
See, I haven't. I've been watching the various trailers up to this point, and there's been something about it that was like a bit off. It didn't look that fun in combat, and I thought this was by far its best showing. Obviously, it makes sense. It's closer to release, so they've had time to polish it. But the little snippets of combat that they show in this trailer make it look far more responsive than it had done before, and far more polished, far more dynamic. So It's made me way more intrigued by it, but not quite intrigued enough to go and download the demo because, I'm very, very short on time and I haven't got time for the demo when the full game is going to come out on Game Pass in just over a month. Gamzly, did you get a chance to try the demo?
Just a little bit. I would be all over this game if I didn't, like on the top of the episode, say that I'm just burnt out in Souls Light games. But I'm sure I'm gonna get the feels for it when it releases. It's really fun. I mean, the voice acting is on point, which I didn't actually. I don't know why I didn't, think that was gonna be a thing. But the voice acting's good. The mixing's off a little bit, but it's a smaller team. So I'm not gonna nitpick that. The combat's really good. The combat is probably the best thing about that game at the moment. But I'm not too far into the demo yet, so I can't really talk a lot about it. But it does give you some solid stuff in the beginning. So, Flintlock, keep your eyes on it. I think it has a lot of room to improve, and traversal looks great and everything, and when it opens up, it might be a fun game.
It might be, and you know what? Go on. No, say.
No, it's all right. I was actually going to ask Gamzly if he could steer us into the next one, but if you've got anything else to say on Flintlock, go for it.
Definitely not. No. I was going to just push it on to Age of Mythology Retold, which personally, I'm actually really looking forward to. So I used to play Warcraft 3 a lot as my competitive RTS of choice, and I only really played competitive. I did the multiplayer modes, I never did the campaigns. Age of Mythology, I didn't think the competitive mode was as compelling for various reasons that I won't get into right now, but broadly, its campaigns and all the rest of it, I think look brilliant, and I think this retold version of it looks awesome. So I will definitely be playing this one myself. I'm not going to call it a highlight because there were too many highlights, but it's on the list as one of the good games. Gamzly, Age of Mythology.
Oh yeah, dude, I need RTS in my life. I wish this looks really good. It's kind of a little bit too Civilization graphics look to me. That's not a knock on Civilization. It kind of is. It's not a knock on Civilization, but it is a knock here. It's not very pretty looking, but RTSs don't really need to. I'm spoiled with stuff like StarCraft, and I think that's more my vibe. But the art style's not doing it for me at the moment. But give me deep RTS systems. It's not about the graphics for those games. I'm being nitpicky here, for no good reason. Yeah, I'm into this. I'm gonna pick this up. This is also in Game Pass, right?
Yep, it is on Game Pass. It's an Xbox first-party thing. Well, it's made by World's Edge, but in conjunction with Xbox, published by Xbox, it is a first-party game coming to Xbox, PC, and cloud.
Yeah.
It's missing the Chinese campaign that was added after the fact on Age of Mythology. That's the only strange omission in the package at the moment, but it looks great to me, and it's a big game without that campaign. So.
Yeah, this genre needs to come back somehow. This genre needs to become bigger. It deserves it. It's a lot of fun. It's deep. It's complex, and there's a lot of good stories to be told. So, yeah.
I don't need the genre to come back.
Guys,
I'm quite content. There's quite a lot again because I think Age of Empires 4 is really damn good as well.
If you're into
the RTS things with a different theme, and the documentary presentation of that one is brilliant. So I'm content with what I've got to play at the moment, but I guess I can never say no to more good games.
There's 3 out there.
Yeah, but they're long, Gamzly. What do you want? They're long. I've not even. I've barely scratched the surface of the 3.
Say long again.
Perfect Dark. So we talked about this, and there was a lot of speculation around Perfect Dark, with a lot of people anticipating that it wouldn't be at the show. It was, despite everybody knowing about the game and it being in development for such a long time, it wasn't necessarily expected. So it was, I guess, a pleasant surprise that it was there, even though I said it would be there because, I like to say yes to everything on that particular week. Perfect Dark was there, showed up looking like a hell of a game. It's got stealth in it, and yet it didn't upset me too badly. Deadly Headley.
What the fuck?
What did you think of this?
Wait
little
a
reveal?
second. What do you
Well,
mean?
come back to
no,
me,
hold on.
Gamzly.
Deadly, ask him.
Don't make me mute
No,
you.
Headley, can you ask him what the fuck he meant by that? This is definitely stealth. This is what is going on?
I actually agree with Asa here. The impression that I get is that actually you've got multiple different ways to approach a mission, which I quite like.
Yeah,
so the
fuck up,
notes that I
Gamzly.
took here, the two sort of the key headline that I wrote in my notes for this one was that for me the gameplay looked highly scripted and contained. Very much still a work in progress, but what we can see looks really, really promising. Visually, it looks very impressive. I actually really like the character model for this one. Unsurprisingly, children on the internet have gone in on a woman not looking the way they think a woman should look, even though most women in games look nothing like real women until fairly recently. But whatever, that's a different discussion for a different podcast. I really like the character model for this, and I'm overall very impressed with the gameplay design.
Lovely hands.
It's sort of it's weird people on the internet taking like close-up screenshots of a person's
I'm not gonna
face
say
and
anything.
it doesn't look like the person that we did 20 years ago when she was a fucking Lara Croft style character. Anyway. I'm getting some Arkham vibes from the sort of detective-y stuff that you can do. I think there's clearly a lot going on in terms of sort of texture fidelity, lighting design. It looks really, really polished for what we've seen, but like I said, there are parts where it sort of just feels quite sort of tightly scripted and controlled. But again, for a game that is still very much work in progress, and this is its first showing, that's completely understandable. But yeah, what I've seen so far, I really like the look of.
I've paused the trailer 2 minutes and 27 seconds in out of the 326, so there's like a minute left, because the first 2.5 minutes I didn't enjoy of the trailer. And Gamzly's getting his face all like stressed because I said I like this game. There was a lot in this trailer that I shouldn't by rights like. I don't like the detective stuff very much. I don't like the stealth stuff very much. But the trailer gives me enough, and I'm going to press play now actually, because now I'm talking and Gamzly's pulling a face. He can hold on to that face. I like it from this point, Gamzly, and I think if I choose to play it this way, I'm going to get a lot of the game from this point, where it looks a hell of a lot of fun, where you get to kill stuff, you get to shoot stuff, you get to blend in, and this is the bit that I like. You shoot lots of oranges, they fly all over the place.
Way more fun.
This half of the trailer is the good bit, right? You're shooting shit, you're making smoke go everywhere, and you're blending in these little melee takedowns in amidst like the gunplay and stuff, and it looks fun at this point, and I'm going to choose to play it the fun way because I'm not a coward or a wanker.
That fire extinguisher shot, did you see that? Is it a bit where she shoots this fire extinguisher and it sort of plumes out this gorgeous kind of cloud of fire extinguisher contents, and then shoots an enemy through it? Just the way that's choreographed, the way that's that's nice.
And I love Crystal Dynamics as a studio. They've done such good work that I have faith. I know it's the initiative game in collaboration with Crystal Dynamics, but I love the Tomb Raider games and the way that the combat feels in those. Avengers had some things wrong with it, don't get me wrong, but it was technically stunning. So I'm actually, based on what I've seen of that gameplay reveal, very much looking forward to Perfect Dark, despite not liking the first 2.5 minutes of the trailer. Gamzly, relax your face and tell me what's upsetting you. What's troubling you?
No, I don't think I will. I don't think I will do that. This is gonna glare at you forever. No, I'm not. I completely understand what you're talking about. Yeah, the part where she like shoots through the wall with like wall hack stuff is freaking awesome, right? Like when she peeks over the on the side of the wall and shoots through the wall, it's so cool. Yeah, this surprised me. I thought this was gonna be the show opener. Like I hoped it would, but it being here it was well paced, considering what they showed in the first 3 trailers. Yeah, Perfect Dark. This was supposed to be in trouble, and I think they showed out extremely well here. It does have a little bit of an awkward look to me graphically, but it's obvious they didn't even give a date, so it's obvious that this is probably a 2026 holiday or maybe 2027, like, you know, probably 2027. So
I wonder if they have taken a strategic approach to how and when they are communicating things. And it's a theory right now. I don't know how tested this is. But we saw Fable last year. And I guess we kind of all thought it's probably quite far away. Like we saw it in 2023. We assumed 2025, possibly 2026. We now do know, spoiler alert, that it is going to be 2025. And we saw another showing this year, which again, we'll get on to after the next topic. I wonder if we see Perfect Dark again next year with something more firmed up.
Maybe
it could
a direct.
obviously be further out from that. But I wonder if that's the kind of cadence and rhythm that Xbox want to set up in terms of going, we're going to show you a game that is still very much in the oven, but at a state where it's looking nice. And then we're going to show it again next year, and we're going to show you a bit more of it. And then we're going to give it to you the year after.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. It's just that it did have a very it's obviously unfinished, but it really does have that unfinished look to it. It's not as sharp as I would liked it to look, but it's completely understandable. Again, I'm just nitpicking stupid stuff here. It looked incredible when she like kicked the guy's legs out and then bashed him in the face with her gun, and everything just looks great. Like you said, the extinguisher moment, her parkouring. The parkour is very important. It kind of looked like that Mirror's Edge, you know, kind of thing. It felt like that, but also that zombie game, that parkour is everywhere too. Parkour and movement and climbing in games are really hard to nail in like action games like this to make it feel great.
It's very much like Dying Light.
And very few nail it. Like Titanfall nails like the wall running and the boosting and all that stuff, and this just feels good. It looks like it's on the right pacing. So it's all nice. It looks nice to me. It looks good. It was definitely a shocker to see it change, because I was expecting a lot more actiony stuff, right? But it looks like a Deus Ex. Wow. Anyways, I'm not gonna try to say that. You know what I mean. So yeah, it looks great. Deus. I know it's Deus. I said Deuce. I don't know what the hell I'm freaking Canadian as. All right, next.
If they can blend those elements, if they can blend the parkour and the melee stuff, because you're used to, like, in a typical FPS game these days, you run up to an enemy and you press melee and you whack them once, and that's how the melee works. And in this one, you see those like more sophisticated takedowns. There's so much potential for that to be cool, and I cannot wait to shoot the oranges and see what happens. We are only like halfway through, and we've already run for way too long for it to be only halfway through. So let's try and be snappy, except on the big games. This isn't a big game. This is just a CGI trailer for Diablo 4. But we're going to touch on it. It's a very good CGI trailer. Blizzard always do nice CGI trailers. Gamzly, you like Diablo?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's enough from you.
Diablo,
Headley.
Diablo. No, listen. You stupid.
Gamzly, stall for a second, because I want to find the tweet that we can turn into an actual topic.
Yeah. No. Oh God, we don't need it. We don't need it to be a topic. It's so long. No. They're the best at this. There was one. This one got a big reaction out of me. The voice actress who does that scream is legit. Like that, when she just yells and peaks her voice, oh man, that was... It got a reaction out of me. I felt it. And I don't often feel that stuff in trailers like that. That was a good scream. It reminds me of a good Dragon Ball Z scream. No, I'm kidding. Whoever got that reference, I love you. But, yeah. This was gruesome, and yeah, this is the vibe.
Do you know,
I
it
want
still
Diablo
is gruesome,
to be.
and because because it is played now, and it probably is like we'll get to some people. The trailer came with a little warning that I didn't play. So if you are watching this live right now and the trailer is playing and you're not into the more gruesome side of things, then just close your eyes for a little bit. Listen to Gamzly's voice.
It's amazing. That's all I got. It's really amazing. That part where her arm just splits open and then the veins just pop out. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah.
Close their eyes. I didn't need your audio description, Gamzly. But yeah, yeah, that's the bit I'm referring to.
Cannot escape.
Pretty grim. Deadly Headley. Have you found what you're looking for?
Yes, but it actually pertains to a different game. So ignore me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to say anything about Diablo?
I will say I want to get back into it. This trailer hasn't necessarily changed that, but I've been craving it for a while. I think I'm going to hold out until the next season when that starts.
Oh my god, dude! The soul, like we haven't Diablo. The soul shards, we haven't really got deep into the soul gems really, and her running around with this thing like Frodo is like it's the coolest thing I've ever seen, because we don't disagree. Get that, you know. It's so cool. Why?
I disagree.
It's so Lord of the Rings. I love it.
It is, but it's like the problem that World of Warcraft has, where it's telling a story that's not about the player character. So it is cool to watch. Yeah. It's got feck all to do with what I'm doing in the game, apart from following. And I didn't like this character in the game, so I don't want it to be more about her. But apart from that, it's a minor complaint, because it is difficult to tell a story in a multiplayer-centric game that makes the player character relevant when they don't actually have a face to show in a trailer like this. So I get it. But this trailer didn't do too much for me. It just sets the mood and the vibe of Diablo, I suppose. That's enough about Diablo. Let's move on to what's next.
We're going to talk about this one, heart, just like she does.
Baby.
Hatred in your heart.
Have to talk about this one.
Yeah, I do. We do have to talk about this one. This one is, you could even call it a highlight if you would like. This is the trailer for Fable. Deadly Headley, you get to go first this time. Tell us what you made of this trailer.
So Fable was definitely on my one to watch, and a game that I was really, really hoping that we would see, and therefore I'm really, really happy that we got to see it again. There was something in particular about this trailer that I absolutely loved, and for a little bit of context, this is something that I've always really appreciated about the Fable franchise, and that is the iconic voices that are used, which brings me on to a really important question that I have to ask you both. Asa, I'm pretty sure you're going to be a yes, because you're British. Gamzly, do you know what the show Peep Show?
I'm not British.
Is?
Well,
you ever heard?
Man.
You're sort of.
I thought
British.
I was British.
Sort of. You're more British than
we don't have to get into that, but yeah, what's up?
Yeah, we don't know. Do you know of a television show called Peep Show? You ever heard of that?
Peep Show.
Yes.
Is that where you like poke holes in walls and stuff? Or
it's not as dirty as it sounds. Peep Show is
I didn't.
One of the Asa, I guess you know what Peep Show is, right? It's hands down one of the greatest pieces of television ever made. It is a fantastic comedy sitcom. It is.
Haven't seen it, so I don't trust you.
So to top line it, and I'll tell you why we're talking about this in a second. Peep Show is produced by Channel 4 in the UK. It ran for, I think it was 9 seasons. It is about 2 guys called Mark and Jez. The entire thing is shot in first person. It is very, very dry humour, very quintessentially British humour. And it's a phenomenal show. One of my favourite characters from the show, and Gamzly, I cannot stress enough, mate, you have to go and watch this show. Anybody listening, if you don't know what Peep Show is, please go and watch it. It is so good.
I don't trust you guys.
Anyway,
I don't trust you at all.
should trust me. It is phenomenal television. The reason why I bring this up is because I was very pleasantly surprised by the person narrating this, who plays one of my favourite characters, if not my favourite character in Peep Show, a guy called Super Hans, voiced by an actor called Matt
Super Hens?
Super Hans, Hans, not Hans. Don't get that confused. Anyway, the reason why I got excited about this is because for me, this is one of the things that Fable has always done really, really well. It's always found iconic British voices and put them very, very appropriately and in a very considered way into each of its games. And I, again, pleasantly surprised to hear that Matt King was the person narrating this. He's obviously been cast as an NPC as well. It did something for me. It got me even more excited about this game than I already was. And for me, British voices have always been a big, important part of Fable, going right back to voices like Stephen Fry and Zoe Wanamaker, who Stephen Fry probably have heard of Gamzly, but I know he's a sort of iconic sort of British commentator and TV presenter. Zoe Wanamaker you probably won't have heard of, but to give you an idea of what I mean by distinctive voices, she was the Quidditch teacher in the first Harry Potter film, so she's got like a gravelly sort of female voice. But
again, I forgot all about her. Nobody cares.
Stands out from a crowd.
No, I'm kidding.
You care about her in Fable. She was really good in Fable.
I'm joking.
But I think the thing, again, the thing that the Fable series has always done for me is got really, really good voices into the mix. And we saw that last year with Richard Ayoade. Again, another iconic British voice and comedy actor. I just feel really, really happy that Playground are respecting that sort of mood and culture and tone that comes with the Fable series. Obviously, Playground is also a British studio, so they're really trying to... I don't get patriotic about much. I as a concept, I don't really like patriotism because I think it's been weaponized by the wrong people. I'm really sorry to get back to politics again. It's a hot button topic at the moment. Anyway, I feel very, very proud to be a Brit and play Fable and enjoy Fable. I don't know why. I just do. It makes me feel that patriotism thing in a lot of other ways people do when they hear like the national anthem or their favourite football team does a thing on the pitch. I don't know. I don't follow football. I'm excited about it, and this trailer did a lot for me. Some things I'm missing from it, and I want a little bit more of. Are more evidence of what happens with choices and your character. Because Gamzly, this was a point that you raised last week as well. We still haven't seen that. We don't know what visible impact your choices have on your character. It's been talked about, it's been hinted about a lot in the trailer that we saw. I need to see it before I can be completely on board with what Fable 2025 is going to do versus Fable 1, 2, and 3. But I'm excited.
Can I jump in here, Asa?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay. So, dude, okay. All I wanted, and I wasn't even sure this was going to necessarily be there, and I know that's weird, but I didn't know. I was hoping, and I really thought that if this showed up, this would be the one that hits me in the face, and this is going to be the one that makes this whole show a 10 out of 10, right? Because Fable's that big. And then when it showed up the way it did, it blew my mind away. I love Fable so much. And I was telling Rand, I was like, all I want to see from Fable, give me a hint that the choices are there, and give me a hint give me a little bit more fighting, a little bit more action. Show me just something, right? And I would be happy. And they did just that. They got the fan there. They got they got that whole. There's obviously dialogue. The whole trailer is basically choice, right? That's the whole theme along the trailer. It's like, what do you want to be, this person or this person? The voice actor or the main guy there was excellent at like portraying visually. Oh god, something just. Yes.
I accidentally punched my mic. That didn't mess with me.
Okay.
That's your mic so hard you're in Gam's internet connection.
Yeah, apparently.
Just
So-
reverberated across the airwaves.
when they were going back and forth about choice, like that really hit me. I'm like, yes, there's obviously this is all about choice, all about being a hero or not, or what type of hero you're gonna be. I love the emotion that the main guy showed when he was talking to her. Obviously he had to do some weird stuff to get by, like that's my vibe, right? Where he's about to smash that guy with his mace and then he looks at the camera. Like that camera shot was so good, and the eyes, his face just betrayed a lot about that scenario. I'm already locked into the story, and we haven't seen anything. Like, we just haven't seen much about the story, and I'm in, and that's what Fable needed to do for me. And it did it. And then the snippets of gameplay, it looked really brutal. Like, when she, like, grabs the butt end of the sword and smacks the guy and shoots a dagger at another person. I mean, it just looked awesome. The scene of her walking inside the courtyard, like, come on, man. It was excellent, and I'm baffled that this is not even top 3, right? Like, this was not even my top 3 moments in the show. So yeah, it just shows how strong the showing was. Okay, that's all I got.
Asa, if you got.
But yeah, I'm with you though. The one thing that would have put it all the way on the top and passed by everything is if when she shows up behind him to be like she's here or whatever, you see, I don't know, her eyes are red or some shit. Like, just give me some sort of appearance change throughout the trailer.
I want to see what Fable, Playground can do with that, like with a modern Fable. How do you show those visual representation? Because it could look cool as fuck. They could really push it. I hope that comes through. I really hope that that's a thing that they're saving for. Because if they get rid of that mechanic, I'll be disappointed. I'm not going to boycott the game. I'm not just going to throw my fucking toys out the pram. But I'll be unhappy about them departing from that visual impact of your choices, because I thought it was a really interesting mechanic in the game.
Me too. That's the thing that I was asking before this trailer came out. That's the thing I wanted to see most. The trailer is really, really good. The game looks really, really good. I do want to see that, like, the choice, not choices in terms of necessarily conversational choices and dialogue choices and all the rest of it, but the ones that represent the way that you play more organically and more naturally. I always loved that about Fable. There's like a slight conflict between delivering on that fully and also having a highly detailed like motion capture and facial animation and all things like that. So my concern is that they've dropped it in favor of voice acting. I would rather see, like, I wanna go muscular if I'm holding a heavy sword, or all the rest of it. Get my suntan if I go out in the daylight, and all these kind of things that it did, as well as the good evil one that people remember most fondly. But but that's not a negative. The trailer, like the trailer looked phenomenal. The game looks phenomenal. Playground are an incredibly talented studio. You can almost certainly kick chickens. I'm sure that will be in there.
I hope so.
What we're going to do now, though, is a challenge for you two, because I don't want to be here forever. So here is your challenge. The next few trailers up to Indiana Jones, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trailers. I'm just going to play them straight through. You have to talk about them while they're playing. I'm just going to introduce the next one as we go. Some of these trailers are only a minute long. We're going to start with Fragpunk. Go.
I thought this looked right. I wasn't overly enthusiastic about this. Gamzly, how about you?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, rest in peace, Concord and stuff like that. There's just too many of these things. I think it has a lot of personality. It certainly looks interesting that you can manipulate the world with the abilities you choose to use. Like, that's the whole thing with this, right? These types of games are not doing stuff like that, so I'm interested in what you can do and how far you can go with manipulating the environment to your advantage. So yeah, it kind of looks cool, but nothing more to say.
My worry is it may be overly complicated, but this idea of like changing the rules of a shooter, I think that's a really cool spin on it. We're seeing some really interesting abilities here, like the ability to like spawn cover, switch people to big head mode. It's a really great
next game.
throwback
So
to like
fun,
some
yeah.
old school. Yeah, all right, next
Winter
one.
Burrow.
Did we pass? Wait, Gamzly, you have to watch Peep Show, bro. I'm sorry, like you need to watch Peep Show when we get off this show. Anyway, this was probably the game I was least enthused by. Out of everything else, I was like, honestly, if you want to skip this one, you can. But the art style's nice.
How dare you? How dare you? Don't skip it.
All right, you speak.
I love this mouse
I'm not
game.
even going to pretend to fucking.
Mouse game is pretty. This is amazing. I love it. Look at it. They're trying to find his. He's trying to find his family and survive in his little
Game
tree.
Pass shell exposed. Next game.
This looks cute. It looks fun. It's
cute.
definitely the lowest point of the show.
It does
I think,
look
but that's
cute.
it.
It's just the game I'm least interested in out of all of the above. But
Could be
you
the
play
next
Starve to
Stardew
Death?
Valley.
No.
Did you play Starve to Death? I think this is more like a Starve to Death more than a Stardew Valley. But yeah, cool.
This
But
is shocking.
not for
I've still got a
everybody.
bit of this trailer left.
Very nice. It's a really, really nice art style. I'm just going to keep on talking about the art style because I'm not that arsed about the gameplay, but the art
Hey,
style.
come on, look at it. It's amazing. Why don't you like it? Okay, we're gonna get into an argument. Why don't you like Mousy?
It's not
I
that
don't
I
understand.
don't like it. I'd rather play Fable and Doom.
Look at how adorable he is. He has a top hat. He's British, probably. I don't know.
It's cute.
You like that?
It's cute. We'll give it
No.
that. Next
All right.
game.
All hell's
Ow.
breaking loose,
See
but
that?
it is time for Mixtape.
I like this challenge. This is great. Let's keep on doing this. Remind me about Mixtape. So this is coming into Game Pass. Oh yeah, this is it's like a sort of Telltale style game, sort of more narrative based. It's got like
Annapurna. It's
like 80s kid sort of vibe. It's a little bit more sort of stop motion-y kind of stuff, which again I don't mind. I don't typically play this kind of game. The last time I played a game like what I would consider close to this was The Quarry, and I actually really loved it. I want to play this. This looks really good, and I want to play more Telltale stuff. Yeah, I want to check this out, and it's on Game Pass.
cool game. It's fun. Yeah, let's go replay our most terrible moments in our lives. Let's go do that. It looks awesome. The soundtrack is really cool. This looks prettier than South of Midnight to me.
Tomo, I think you might be right. I think it's more early 90s than 80s. But yeah, I think it looks nice.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah, I'm actually down for these types of games in a weird, awkward way. I don't know why. I can't really explain it. Music's awesome. Visuals are pretty cool. And I'm intrigued to see what you actually do in this game. But yeah.
Yeah, really nice
that
vibe.
Takes us nicely on to the next one. I don't understand why people want to relive this era of their lives. Like the selection of music is for old people, and it's saying you're old. Go and relive your school days. It's a weird vibe to me.
Oh,
but besides
don't
that,
do that. Okay,
look,
get him
Gamzly,
out.
there's no time to
He's
argue.
a robot.
There is no
You're
time to
a
argue
fucking
because we are
robot.
moving on to Microsoft Flight Simulator
boop.
2024.
Did that make you feel anything? Beep boop pop. Anyways, Flight Sim. Flight Sim is Flight Sim. You know, I do this really awkward. I have Flight Sim downloaded, and I just fly around awkwardly, listen to music, and it's the most, I don't know, relaxing thing ever.
It's a lovely game.
I also
it's really nice. It's so
I also use it. I also use it in a weird way to visit some cool places I've been. And I don't know why. It's just nostalgic to me. So I'll go like during my fighting career, I'll go to like all those places that I fought in, and it I don't know, gives me some good vibes. But yeah, cool. Flight Sim, more gamey. It's all good stuff.
It looks stunning as well. I'm assuming it's not going to run at 60 on the Series X, but the showing that we've seen at the showcase is really, really lovely. But yeah, I'm not expecting it to run this smoothly on the Series X. It looks gorgeous though, and I really like the emphasis that they're putting on different job roles that involve flight and aviation. I think it's a really interesting choice for a game because you can obviously gamify so many of those things. It's beautiful. It's so stunning. I think it's really easy to overlook the achievements of Microsoft Flight Sim, but it's a remarkable game. It really is. So I'm looking forward to this a lot.
Asa, beep or boop if you liked this.
I think I like it as long as they still include the VR support with the previous one, right? It's because I have that and I should probably play it more. The previous game looked stunning, was a massive technical achievement. It looked a lot like this to me. This one adds loads of structure to the gameplay. It gives all your, like, you're a firefighter, you're a crop duster, you're all of these kind of different mission objectives, things that it probably is something that someone like me needs, rather than just go and fly around familiar places and look at the world. To actually have a little bit of structure would probably help me get into it more. So that is cool as fuck. The sky is cooling, and we're about to move on to. Oh, this is dramatic.
That was more than beeps and boops, though.
Yeah, I know. Gamzly,
is
I'm a real boy.
Elder Scrolls Online update was the next one, which I'm not gonna lie, I actually think I skipped this one completely. So I watched about 2 hours behind real time. This was actually the only trailer that I just went, fuck it, I don't need to see that.
What a terrible
I'm not
choice.
Gonna play it, Gamzly. I'm sorry, bro.
This looks amazing.
It does look amazing. It looks really pretty. But
I don't know. I have a soft spot for the Elder Scrolls in general, so I think I'm gonna hop into this as well, but God knows when. It's usually a drought game, right? And that's what Xbox Showcase does pretty well here, is that they show you those drought games. Like, they show you, okay, in between Perfect Dark, this, you get to play Diablo, COD, and all the live service stuff like Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. And that's what my brother does all the time. He hops between MMOs when he finishes one thing of content. So I do the same thing. This looks good.
Is making me realize I'm a massive cynic, because I'm watching this whole trailer and all I'm seeing is emotes that you have to pay for and pets that you have to pay for over and over again on loop.
Listen,
like, oh, there's an emote, I wonder how much that costs. Or they're doing a little fancy bow, I wonder how that much costs. Or they're doing a little jumpy dance, I wonder how much that one costs. Oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, I wonder how much that one costs. And you know that I'm right, because they all do bloody cost money.
No, okay, skip this. I don't want to hear this. All right?
Apart from that, I love it is nice. It looks good. I like the fantasy adventure. I wish that I liked that game, but I'm just seeing monetization everywhere. Can't help it. Okay.
You're not wrong.
Next trailer's coming up.
And this is coming out in 5 days as of record, by the way. It's coming out June 18th. So if you are interested,
no, it came out 10 years ago. I said it right at the start. Right. Life is Strange, double exposure.
I really like the look of this. I've not played any of the Life is Strange content at all.
Jeez, come on. You know what?
Gamzly, talk to me about it, because I want to check this out. And
listen,
this out of all of them appeals to me more than I have nothing against those games. I haven't gotten around to playing them, but I really like the look of this game and this story, and I want to get into it.
Forget what I said about high schools and play the first Life is Strange.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The first, because this is a
Yes.
Yeah, you could say a continuation of that story. So there's a lot of good characters here that are loved, and really cool, interesting threads that are being played on. So if you like The Last of Us, just jump into this. You'll love this. It's not at all. just go. No, but please play this. It does give you choice that matters. It hits you hard in all the right spots. Life is Strange, especially the first one. So
yeah, Deadly Headley, you said you were looking for more Telltale-like games. The first Life is Strange is probably the best Telltale-like game. Yeah. Among
honestly,
them. Not the very
I looked
best,
at this trailer and I thought, I really want to get into this series. I really want to play this specific game. So the fact that I have games that I can go back to pick up and catch up with.
Don't do this one.
No, I won't. I want to do the first one. I think this was on the Life is Strange was on Game Pass at one point, wasn't it? I don't know if it's still
True Colors. Yeah.
Is that
less so? You need to do the first one, and this is a direct sequel to the first one. So just do Life is Strange 1 and then do double exposure. But
Life is
trailer
Strange
is up. Too late, Gamzly. It's Wuchang, Fallen Feathers.
Oh, this looks fucking sick. Gamzly,
I
you
hate you.
speak on this, but it looked. Oh, this looks dope. This was actually one of my favorite games from the showcase. I think it looks fantastic. And I don't know anything about it, but it looks sick.
Yeah. This almost gave me a heart attack, and I have no idea why. I thought this was gonna be an Onimusha like continuation when her arm showed that animation of like I don't know what animation it gave her, like a pauldron, but it just gave me Onimusha vibes so hard, and I don't know why I thought about it, but it gave me a heart attack. I'm really intrigued by this game. It's a Souls, right? So I'm not in the mood for it at the moment. See this part here where that thing comes on her arm, it just looked so reminiscent of that game. But yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm digging the weapons, I'm digging the speed. Yeah, I'm a little tired of this at the moment, this genre at this very moment. So I can't say much. It didn't get me that jazzed, but if I would have watched this like 5 months ago, maybe it would have hit me differently.
Good. That's the whole trailer. Next one up, Deadly Headley, you take this one. It is.
No,
Oh, we already had Mixtape. Why
What?
has Mixtape come up
No.
again?
And just
Give it a
pause this
second.
and speak about it. All right?
No.
Do you not like it?
I
You
like
don't like
I like the quickfire. It's going well, but I don't know why it's jumped back. So we're on to
Indiana
why
Jones.
is the
No,
order
Deadly.
suddenly changed?
Deadly,
One of
tell me, go, speak on it. Are you interested in it, Wuchang?
In Wuchang, yeah, man, yeah, it looks really, really good. It looks really, really cool. Something about the art style, the tone, the setting. It's gnarly and it's gritty, and yeah, I want to play it. What the brief glimpses of gameplay that we have seen, just they pricked my ears up, caught my eye, and I want to check it out. You know that I haven't played a lot of Souls games. I don't really know what to expect from Wuchang. I didn't play Wolong. I don't know if this is going to be similar, but I like the look of this game and I want to check it out. It's coming on Game Pass as well, which I'm really stoked for, because again, not having a huge amount of time with Souls likes and not necessarily knowing whether or not I'm actually going to like this game, I'm really grateful that I get the opportunity to check it out, try it for myself, and base my opinions from them.
Right, I'm going to tell you something wild. While we were playing this little game of play the trailers through really quickly and just talk while they're on, someone at Xbox tuned in, looked at our little show and went, oh, they're having fun. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to rearrange the entire playlist at this precise moment. And
Was it you, Greenberg?
They're
Was that
ruining
you?
it.
Phil,
I'm
you get the fuck out of here, Chip.
Was it Avowed
stay,
next?
Phil, please don't go.
I think it was
It
Avowed.
wasn't Avowed
Phil.
next.
Love us, Phil.
It wasn't. We had the last trailer before Indiana Jones was going to be Mecha Break. So I'm going to find that and then we're going to do Indiana Jones. They're spoiled my game. I'm so like, how did this happen? Why did they change the
poor
order
you.
mid-show?
Poor
That was fun,
you.
and also-
We actually got to talk about it.
It was fun.
I've got an old tab that's still got the correct order, but it's not going to go through them correctly. Right, Mecha Break. This is the last one. You got like a minute and a half to talk Mecha Break.
Okay, Mecha Break. I'm going to take this really quick. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Come on. Look how crazy cool this stuff is. It's quick. It's fast-paced. It's hardcore.
Yeah, this
Mechs
looks
and
sick. I thought this was a
Gundams.
Gundam game.
Yeah, man. This look cool. Yo,
This
when
looks so
when he does that duplication move in the air and he starts to teleport and stuff, like, come on, man. Yeah, this has some style. It's probably gonna land with nothing, but it looks great to me anyway.
Yeah, I think this looks really cool too. It is not coming into Game Pass. It is one of those that because I did take a note of everything that was coming into Game Pass and not coming into Game Pass. Life is Strange Double Exposure also isn't coming into Game Pass. So both that and Mecha Break aren't. But like I said, Wuchang is. So yeah, definitely one to watch out for.
Good. Good. I actually really like the look of Mecha Break. I'm hoping that turns out to be loads of fun. I like the flying, I like the tanks, I like the mechs, I like the hitting,
There's
I like
robots.
the shooting, I like the customization, and I hope that this becomes part of our community games rotation. But like I say, it's not on Game Pass, so that does depend on it really landing and finding an audience. What?
You just like robots.
These are my
Asa.
brothers,
Let's
Gamzly.
just say it.
Yes,
Just say it.
I see my kindred. I'm like, I wish I could fly like they do. But no. Next one, and I'm just going to walk away and leave you talk about this because it's quite a long trailer for this one. It's Indiana Jones, The Great Circle.
Yeah.
Which is now.
That was Avowed.
Well,
So,
I think it was in there. The order is slightly different. We'll get to Avowed in a minute. Don't worry. You've got Indiana Jones now. Don't panic. Talk about Indiana Jones. I can't find the trailer there because it's all shuffled. Fuck's sake. Why did they do this?
I think Avowed came after Indiana Jones. The running order that I've got is Indiana Jones, then Mecha Break, then Wuchang, then Avowed. But I may have written that down wrong while I was watching the show. But so I guess actually the question that I've got for the two of you is...
Not me. I'm walking away.
Okay. Gamzly. I personally would have preferred an uninterrupted gameplay sequence rather than what we got, which was a bunch of sort of a trailer cut together and then a short cutscene. The
only reason why I disagree with that is because we got so much gameplay the last time it was shown. And it looked good. We were already sold on that gameplay, or most of us was. And I'm not talking about the first person complainers, but like I think we saw a lot of that, and I wanted the charm of Indiana Jones, and I feel like they nailed the charm of Indiana Jones. This was this cinematic look. It's almost like what I wanted from Call of Duty in the Direct, is that I wanted them to go into the campaign. And I said, don't show me multiplayer. I was live with Rand. I said, don't show me multiplayer. Show me why this campaign is cool. Sorry. So sorry. I'm sorry if that blew anybody's ears out. Yeah. So, this is what they did with this showing, is they showed another part of Indiana Jones, and the part that matters, the cinema of it. Looked awesome. I think it's a little slow, right? It feels awkward. The punches feel weird. You know, it's very timed awkwardly, but I mean, they got the spirit.
Sequences.
Well, in terms of like just the swings and them running at each other, I mean, it's just a little bit slow. But I don't know. It feels like Indiana Jones, and isn't that the point? You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. In terms of nailing that authenticity to the IP, I thought it did really, really well. And I think if that was the goal, they did a really good job. I personally would have liked to see like 2 or 3 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay, just raw.
I think they give you that in a Direct. You know,
we do, but we had it sliced up in lots and lots of different sequences and moments. And
I mean the next one, like the next one closer to release.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, it's coming out this year.
Direct for it because it's due out this year. Yeah. I think there was basically like a soft sort of date release where it was going for. I want to say sometime in November. I'm not sure of the specifics, but I'm pretty sure I remember a November date coming up in sort of the background for Indiana Jones and some of the discussion that happened after the fact with the showcase. But I can't be certain on that. They haven't put a date on it, and I think part of the reason... You're right, Gamzly. Were you going to jump in? Are you okay?
No. I was talking to Cleo.
I think it's okay. I think. Hi, Cleo. I think part of the reason why they haven't put a date in is because they kind of don't really need to. I think I've heard this discussion brought up on some other podcasts as well. We're basically like, because we live in such a digital driven age, especially with this game launching on Game Pass as well. I know people are sort of usually keen to see a game like this sort of marketed a lot earlier. I do agree with marketing the game itself earlier, but it sort of it's marketed in a slightly different way now because you don't necessarily rely on pre-orders and a la carte sales on day one in the same way as the industry used to, because there are other ways of playing and accessing games now. You can also access that media a lot quicker. You're not having to wait for deliveries. You're not having to account for, shipping units, etc., because the vast majority of this content, again, is consumed digitally. So in the interest of buying themselves as much time as possible, finding that optimum window between bigger heavy hitters like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, because there's a pretty good chance that Indiana Jones is going to end up sandwiched between those two, and you don't want to step on anybody's toes, and you don't want either of those games to step on this game's toes. So I'm not really bothered about there not being a solid release date for this yet. Like, this is fine. They've committed to 2024. It looks like it's going to release in 2024. It looks really polished. Let's just see what happens.
We will see what happens.
Beep, beep.
I think it's
Boop, boop, boop.
fairly clear from looking at what they're showing of Indiana Jones, particularly in this reveal. They know how to make a good Indiana Jones movie. It looks like a good Indiana Jones movie. It is a very long cutscene. Yeah. The previous one did have all the gameplay in it, and I love how minimalistic the HUD is. Whenever we've seen it, there's been no signs of a HUD, but there is some risk that they shoot too close to giving us an Indiana Jones movie. The gameplay does need to hold up as well, and it may well do.
Honestly, the last thing to say about this, if they like Hellblade 2 this thing, that'd be interesting. Like, no HUD, nothing, just make you go do the thing. We're trained to know what the whip is, or to, how to hold a controller and press buttons. Like, just figure it out. That'd be so freaking cool. I hope they do that, but yeah.
I honestly, I think they probably will, because the audience for a game that is mimicking a movie so closely is quite a broad audience. Not necessarily a big audience, but it's a broad audience in terms of how much experience they may or may not have with games so far. Because you're going to get a lot of people that are fans of Indiana Jones that are trying to play this thing. So rather than actually being mechanically difficult, it might help you along a fair amount and just go for cinematic presentation. It's first person, but it might go for intuitive feels as much as it can. Obviously, there's all these puzzles and things in there, and it all needs to hold up and work and come together in the right way. And I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. They clearly do understand at least how to deliver a good movie, which the movie studios don't necessarily these days. So let's go to, well, you know what I mean with Indiana Jones. It's not been so hot, has it? So the game looks like it's doing a better job. I know this isn't the order of the showcase, but we're going to go Stalker 2.
Cool.
Stalker.
I'm hyped for this. Haven't played any of the Stalker games, but I've been excited about this since it was first revealed back in 2020.
How tall are you?
Me?
Headley? Yeah,
6'3".
how tall? How tall? I'm gonna
6'3".
ankle kick you. Because that's all I could do. Because I'm super angry at you. Go play Stalker. My God.
They only came out to consoles like 2 months ago.
God.
And we've had so many games to play. Come on. This was on PC and PC exclusively for so long. Like, I know it's just come out to console. I'm sorry I haven't had the chance to play it. I'm just going to wait until Stalker 2. I'm really hyped on
You made
this.
me almost break my mind.
So excited. Isn't that a new one as well?
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this one, man. I've been really excited about this since they first revealed it. Super stoked that the team based in Ukraine has been able to deliver a game that looks this good, because we know that they have been through hell, and they've talked about that publicly as well. Cannot be easy to make a game in that environment, and it looks great. I'm really, really glad that they've had the extra time to keep this cooking in the oven, because everything that we've seen at the showcase looks so much more polished than what we saw being shown at Gamescom last year as well. So that extra time in the oven was clearly really important. It looks like they have reaffirmed their September release date commitment. It's coming out September 5th and straight into Game Pass as well. super hyped on it. Where are you guys at?
Oh, I freaking love this game. Well, this franchise. I mean, this trailer looks so good. I mean, from the voices to the atmosphere to just everything, man. The way the guns feel, the weird creatures, the impact, like the recoil of the guns. I mean, man.
See those god rays in the
Like, look at it.
Shot, a couple shots back.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. It just, yeah, I was super hyped during this whole trailer. Yeah, I'm ready for this. And in Game Pass, it's ridiculous. I hope they get their money for this. Though I hope they, yeah, we know this studio is going through a lot, so this looks awesome, and hopefully, you know, we all support it. They deserve it. The franchise as a whole is just it's good. So support this game.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, good, Asa? Have you played the Stalker series?
Just to upset Gamzly, I've never played Stalker. Come at me, Gamzly. This game looks really good, right? So the initial trailers that they showed for it looked massively impressive, and then the game was at Gamescom, and feedback from the playable version of it was not as strong. But this latest showing is back to form, back, like it kind of implies, if we can trust this trailer, which I hope we can, it implies that they have hit the target that they set for themselves with those first reveal trailers, and it looks fantastic again. It looks really, really good. I see Tony in chat saying that the first one had basically no story, it was just very open, and this one seems to be more linear. I didn't get that impression from it, that it was going to be linear when it actually opens into gameplay. Obviously it had some characters leading you through certain scenarios in the trailer, but I think it is structurally going to be fairly similar to the first game that I've never played. So yeah, I'm definitely going to give this one a go in September. It's got like really nice rain and wind, so you know, thunder, lightning, all the things that I like in a game. None of that stealth bollocks. Give me extreme weather and I'm going to play Stalker. Next game.
Gamzly, do you want to just briefly talk to us about the type of experience and difficulty that we can expect? Because I've heard that this series is a lot more hardcore than most average shooter fans would think it would be. So what do you want to lay out some expectations that we should be aware of?
Hardcore in terms of like mechanically, it's just different. I wouldn't say like hardcore. It's just your how your gun works and how your little radar works. I mean, it's all just tight gameplay. That's not really. I think that's what people mean by hardcore. It's just really tight in its mechanical prowess. So, lovely game. Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm just so angry. I don't even know. You know what? Next question, please. No, let's just go.
Right, the next game on the list for today. Calm yourself down, Gamzly.
Headley. You're gonna love. Yeah. You're probably gonna love this game. I hope you get into this.
Yeah, I think I will.
So, Gamzly, I recommend, to help you cope with these emotions, try being more like me. Robotic.
No, I
don't actually recommend it. I don't recommend it whatsoever. But next game,
games anymore. No Assassin's Creed for you.
Oh, was that in there?
I hate everything. Everything sucks.
That is uncanny. Now I feel really bad.
Avowed?
No, we're going to do Atomfall next. So this is Rebellion's game, British Fallout, some people call it.
Affectionately dubbed British Fallout. I don't really know
reeling from that impression
from this. It's kind of like the little bit of an Atomic Heart vibe to it, just in terms of that kind of. I'm not misremembering this, am I? There's a little bit of like old history sort of thing to it. Yeah, it looks cool.
Oh, is it me?
Apologize, Gamzly.
Is it me?
Only if you apologize.
Is it my turn? Hold on. Yeah, this looks a little bit amazing. I'm not quite sure how it'll end up. Next question, please. No, I mean it looks fun, right? It looks wank. Like it looks. I was gonna say wank. Why would I say that?
You really are British. It's a miracle.
Oh my god. It looks
wank.
weird in a good. It looks weird in the good way, doesn't it? But yeah, Atomic Heart. It looks very. It's giving me Atomic Heart vibes, and that was hey. I loved it in a lot of ways and hated it in a lot of ways, and this is giving me the same feeling. So yeah, I'm not holding my breath for it, but it looks interesting.
Flush Jackson in the chat says that we've turned Gamzly British. I actually am impressed that it's only taken. Are we 16? Are we episode 16? How many episodes have we done?
It's 20. God,
oh, yeah,
it's 20.
Loads of episodes.
Yeah, it's 20.
It actually
it's 20
is.
episodes.
Chuck us a like and subscribe to help us celebrate our 20th episode, by the way, if you're watching here for the first time, or if
There's
you
no
haven't
celebrations
been here for a while.
after Gamzly's impression of me. We're this is more of a mourning. We're sad now.
Organic Gamzly is dead. Robotic Gamzly is here to stay.
Better really not be.
Super
It's
amazing.
So we're gonna do
Amazing. I drink tea.
with that Atom game. What was it called? Atomfall. Looks really cool. Apart from the combat that looks terrible, right? So it looks really clean. It looks. I like the alt history thing that it's doing, but as soon as you start seeing them shooting these mech things and being completely ineffective with all of their guns, suddenly it looks less fun. Obviously, this is a very early trailer of it, and they can fix that and make it more satisfying. Like see those things taking some damage when you're shooting at them, and then suddenly this might be a really compelling game. I will keep an eye on it, but it looks a little ways off. We're gonna do 2 more games. First up is Avowed. Deadly Headley. So we've had an Avowed trailer at the showcase, and we've had a deep dive as well. Talk to me about Avowed.
I am gonna let Gamzly lead this one because
Oh, you don't want to upset me again.
Have
Huh?
you? Yeah, that's exactly it, man. That's exactly it. No, so I am stoked on Avowed. Gamzly, I know you're really hyped on this. I haven't had the chance to watch the deep dive. Have you?
No, the deep dive. Oh, the deep dive, like the past one
For Avowed. No,
Oh,
so
yeah,
there was one that came out this week. I know one of the interesting things that was revealed was that you can play it in third person, which I think is really, really cool.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad about that. I'm glad that we have.
Well, there was supposed to be a Twitch stream like right now at 5:00 as well.
Really?
So more by the time people see this at the end or whatever, the Avowed thing will be played already. But yeah,
Because so for anyone who doesn't know, I think the official Xbox podcast did like a deep dive. I want to say with some of the devs on Monday. I want to say Monday afternoon. They did like a little deep dive into Avowed, but again, I unfortunately
I guess I missed this.
dive
But
into it. Asa, did you miss
I've
it as
seen a
well?
lot
Are
of it.
we in breach of like not doing professional podcasting anymore?
No.
Please save us.
I have not seen the deep dive. I obviously caught bits and pieces of it, but I've not gone and watched it.
All right,
That's
Abdel
okay.
in
There's
chat,
enough
don't
to
worry
talk
about
about.
being late because it looks like we haven't done our homework anyway. So thanks for showing
No,
up. Please hit the like button.
this I know everything about this guy. They showed this game quite a bit, man. Like even a couple of months ago, they went into a super deep dive as well. So, I know enough about this game world to know that I want everything Avowed pumped into my robot veins, as they would say.
Yeah. My views on this
it
haven't
looks
changed
lovely.
since the direct. I'm stoked for this. I think it looks really great.
The world itself is awesome. The voice acting is awesome. The trailer did land for me here. The effects look nicer. Like the first time they showed magic, it was very stale. Like there wasn't much effect to it. But this time, where that moment where he like put out his hand and the fire came out to burn the trunk of the tree to expose a secret, like it just looked awesome. The effects looked way more polished. They made a choice to show you that cool armor. Like they're flexing, like before you saw him like walk out of a boat and he had nothing on, and it's kind of like the starting gear, or it looked like starting gear. It wasn't anything spectacular. This time she had this full armor on, fully lored, by the way. If you know the world, you know how cool that armor is. But yeah, it's a cool world. I want to live in it. Just inject it into my veins so I could be happy again. Unlike Asa.
I will never be. I will never be happy again because of your impression of me. You've taken that away from my future. But Avowed, I'm going to play it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to enjoy it. I can tell everything about that game that I've seen. I like the look of, and a lot of people were unhappy with the look of it in previous showings. I'm not sure what the kind of consensus is on the new trailer in terms of the upgrades to graphics and what it looks like, the lighting, the colors, and all the rest of it. But to me, it looks really nice. I particularly like when they're in the kind of cave environments with the water and the luminous mushrooms, like fungusy things. That just appeals and looks good to me. The outer world and the combat in it. It's very difficult to do like high fantasy combat from a first person perspective. I know we've got the third as an option. Even in the previous showcase, I didn't actually think it looked that bad.
I don't think the combat is going to be nearly as fun or as enjoyable in third person. I actually really like the look of the first person combat. I think it looks really immersive. It looks really kind of... It looks fun. It looks different. There's that... so I remember in the developer direct, they talked quite a lot about how you can change your combat style on the fly, and you could sort of switch between different styles of combat to like really customize your own combat experience. I think you lose a lot of that if you go in a third person.
For me, it's it's not so much the weapon swapping as the fact that my kind of standard for combat in those games is from Oblivion and Skyrim and MMORPGs and things like that. So Avowed never looked bad by comparison to the other games, like its contemporaries, the other games in its genre, the other games like that. You can compare it to something like God of War and say it doesn't look the same, but it's not that style of game. Compared to the likes of Skyrim, it already looked really good, and it still looks really good in terms of how the combat will look and feel. So Avowed is really high. I said last year that it's probably one of my... It wasn't as high as Dragon's Dogma 2 and Final Fantasy Rebirth on my list. It was the tier below, alongside Hades 2, which is very, very high praise from me. I'm really looking forward to Avowed. I still am really looking forward to Avowed. It's going to come out and I'm going to play the crap out of it. Avowed looks really, really good. Let's move on to Gamzly's face. Oh, it's disgusting. I'm not looking forward to seeing that again next week. Last game that we're going to talk about. Sorry, Gamzly. Gears of War E-Day, the one more thing, the closing game of the showcase. Deadly Headley. You hated it, didn't you?
No, absolutely not. No, this was really cool. A really surprising announcement. The Mad World theme being remixed back in, just chills. That was wonderful. We've talked about how powerful the marketing for that original game was, so to hear that original or that theme come back in and be remixed into the Gears of War E-Day trailer was really, really cool. I've thought for a long time, especially when I was playing Gears 1, 2 and 3, I never actually finished 4 and 5, so I'm really glad that they are going back to going back to E-Day and doing a prequel. I'm really excited about that. I sort of lost touch with the franchise after 3. I loved 1, 2 and 3, and 4 and 5 just sort of didn't capture me in the same way. Again, I've considered over time like whether or not Gears as a Gears game should explore Emergence Day. Didn't think that they would, so the fact that that's the announcement that we got, I think that's huge. Really, really exciting stuff.
Gamzly.
It was amazing. Yeah, quite enjoyed it.
Organic
Except
Gamzly, come back. I can't take it.
Except
Stop
for
it.
the lack
Bring
of
Organic
gameplay.
Gamzly back.
No, I loved the this shocked me. I think when I when I was live reacting with Rand, I was just in awe. I was like, what's happening? So much emotions hit me at once. At first I was like, wait, is this them pulling my leg? Is this like the remaster or remake? That would be so lame if this was like the remake or remaster. As soon as I saw Marcus, I was like, come on, is this what they're doing? This is weird. But then like you saw the knife hit the wall, and then I'm like, wait a second, interesting. And then the TV screen with like the war is over or whatever. It's so excellently played. I knew it was the Mad World song almost immediately, and that got my heart pumping. Like as soon as you heard heard the first note where he was reaching for the TV and it started around that time, I was like, oh my god, they're really doing this. They're going beat by beat, nostalgic. Like I love what Xbox is doing right now. As I said, I think they're just really going for that nostalgia tug this generation with all these IPs under their wing. Gears, Halo, from Gears to Halo to Fable to COD to all this stuff. It's a very iconic presentation that we got, and this just put the cherry on top, man. This hit me hard because they know we want this. They know it, and it lines up with the new hardware coming up maybe in the future, maybe. And it's just, this is strong by Xbox. This hit me. And it's so funny that it was so strong that nobody gave a crap about seeing gameplay for it. No one. Because we know what it is. We don't need to see it. This is Gears. This is going to be what we love. Coalition doesn't miss with this stuff. So, yeah, this was the right note in every way. This hit me in the feels. Yeah, I loved it.
So, in really terms of the nostalgia and the it being as iconic as it is, I very much recommend checking out Luke Law's interview with Cliff Bleszinski on the Xbox Expansion podcast channel. It's only like a 45-minute interview, but Cliff Bleszinski obviously made the Gears of War first, the trilogy, the games that you're saying you loved, Headley. His perspective on the trailer is very interesting to listen to. His perspective in general is very interesting. He's quite mellowed and philosophical now about entertainment, media, gaming, and all the rest of it. But he was talking specifically about this trailer and what it meant to him and what he hopes to see and all the rest of it. He pointed out that it's not just the Mad World music. The theme that's playing before that moment, is the Dom Sacrifice music. That also means a lot to the Gears of War universe. That music isn't familiar to me. I wouldn't pick up on that myself at all, but I got it from listening to this, as well as various other details that he would pick up from that trailer that other people might not, because obviously it's very close to him with his involvement in it. Fortunately, he's not a consultant or anything along those lines for this game, and I say fortunately because throughout the course of that interview, towards the end, he does suggest that he would like to see moments spliced in there where he plays a child in stealth sections. I don't want that, Cliff. I don't want that. Apart from that, fantastic interview. But
Xbox might be obliged to put one of those scenes in if it goes multi-plat, though, right?
They better bloody not. Right. No long grass. None of that. Not having it. Massive respect for Cliff Bleszinski and all that he's brought to that franchise and to the industry. But I'm not having child stealth sections in my Gears of War, please. Yeah, what else is there to say about that? I mean, Emergent State is a period of Gears of War history that loads of people have been asking for, bringing it back to more tension, more horror, more darkness, more of a threatening enemy is all stuff that people have been asking for, and they are delivering it. Apparently, I'm not sure what the source is for this, I couldn't tell you, unfortunately, but apparently they haven't completely dropped telling I think it was Jez Corden, actually. I think they are still intending to tell out the rest of the Gears 4, 5, 6 trilogy that was supposed to be. They haven't dropped that entirely.
Pretty Studio confirmed that, right? Like they just wanted to do this because they knew they needed to. This is the story they wanted to continue. It's not like a coward way out of the other, trilogy, but yeah, I think it was the right choice, but
I think it's a good move in terms of just like really wanting to get the legacy Gears of War crowd excited about the franchise again. I think Asa, to your point about E-Day being a really sort of profound moment in the lore, but it's never something that we as a player get to experience. We sort of see and hear a lot of information about it as we go through the original trilogy. But they talk about E-Day like it was this traumatic event. You don't really get to see what happened. You only hear and see about the aftermath. So to live that experience is going to be something really profound for a lot of Gears players.
It can be, and most people's favourite characters within the IP are Marcus and Dom and their relationship and all the rest of it, which is something that they can put a lot more into kind of forming in this. They do need to end it with Marcus Phoenix going to prison for some reason or other, because that's how Gears of War 1 starts. But
yeah.
So I'm not sure how that's going to play out.
I'd like to play that series again. I've got a craving for Gears. Happily jump back into that.
Yeah, I think they have a winner. To close it off, they have a winner here. Like I said, it's just the Xbox fans that either don't own an Xbox anymore or went to another side, whatever. They're looking at this and they're probably thinking, "Oh my god!" Like seeing all these games revealed and this cherry on top is probably giving the heavy tugs at this moment. You know, all those lapsed Xbox players are looking at this thinking, man, maybe this is a return to form. And I think everyone's thinking the same thing here. I think this is a big moment for Xbox. This was a cool trailer. Can't wait. I'm hopping in for sure.
Cool. Well, that was the last game that we're going to talk about. I think we do have a few questions in there to get to as well. But before we do, so the showcase as a whole, there's been some criticism from some quarters that there wasn't enough gameplay in there, like too much reliance on CGI and all the rest of it. But broadly, I would say perception that I've seen around the social medias and all over the place has been very, very positive, that this was an exceptionally strong showcase. Deadly Headley, what was your overall kind of takeaway from it? Pacing, structure, content, all of it.
Really liked the pacing and structure. Actually, I also really liked. And it's a small thing, but I'm a graphic designer. I can't help it. I really liked the way the messaging was delivered for like the Game Pass Day One stuff, the world reveal or world premiere stuff. Just the visual and sound design aspect that went along with that. I thought was just really nice and sort of elevated in terms of quality and style. Overall pacing of the show was really good. There were a couple negatives for me. The big one being that we didn't get the ABK Game Pass drop that I think a lot of the community was hoping for. I think that would have been a really easy win for Xbox to go, by the way, I know we've shown you a bunch of stuff that's coming in the Game Pass and you should be really hyped about that. But here's a bunch of stuff that you couldn't play on Game Pass until right now. Go enjoy that. I think that would have been a really easy win for them. But the show was full of wins. So in a sea of wins, does one less win really matter? Probably not. And another one for me, again, more of a personal grievance than anything else, but I'm a Halo fan, so I'm always going to bitch about the fact that the Halo wasn't at that show. It is what it is. So, you know, those two caveats in mind, it's a 9.5 for me. If you put Halo in there, you put a Game Pass drop in there, and maybe bin off a couple of the games I don't really care about. That's a fucking banger of a show. It's fantastic work from Xbox.
Yeah.
Fair. Gamzly?
I will give it a 7.
What about organic Gamzly? What's organic?
Oh, that shit's 9, man. That stuff's a good time, baby. No, definitely a 9.5. It's not it's not he's gonna kill me. It's not it's not perfect, right? Perfect would be all those things that we predicted in all these podcasts would come true and everything on top of what we got and all that stuff. Like you said that the release dates were not there. I thought Game Pass titles I thought was a shoo-in. I thought Square would make an appearance here more than they did. And that's a big one for me, right? I thought for sure Square would be here in a bigger way than Life is Strange and all that. But you can definitely nitpick things, but that's why it's such a crazy show. Any other year in any other stage by any other company, if they showed the things that we think is missing, would be a win. But also, if they didn't show the things that we are talking about, it would be a loss for those shows. It didn't even scratch the show. It was like, okay, these things didn't pop up yet. Everything else did. It was just so packed. It was so packed. Like, the only thing you could really, slander is the amount of live service games that showed up that a lot of people don't care about. But again, another example of that being in any other show paced almost the same way, we'd be talking really down on it. We'd be like, well this, well that. But they were just like stuffing, right? They were there, they served their purpose, but the whole show was so good. There was so much memorable stuff there that you can't take off more than like half points here. Yeah, I don't like scoring with numbers, but I really do love this one. This was a banger. Like, this is top 3 of all time in my opinion, in any showcase. And you can argue, probably looking back, probably up on the top of those 3. So yeah, great show.
I forgot to ask before we do the questions. Deadly Headley, how many of the new consoles are you going to buy?
There's no real reason for me to. There's no real reason for me to.
You want the glitter? Deadly Headley wants the glitter.
Disposable income. If I had the disposable income,
Andy Headley?
I would like to get a Series S as like a secondary console that I could stick somewhere else in the house, whether it's a bedroom or it goes in my office in here because I haven't got the money to build a PC. Yeah, I'd consider it, but it's not. It's
not exciting
it's not really
as an announcement, no. On the off chance that there's anybody that doesn't know the showcase, there were 3 new Xboxes revealed. It's not an exciting thing. They're not their next gen of consoles. It was an all digital Xbox Series X that's white, an all digital Series S that's white, and a special edition green glittery Xbox Series X that still has the drive that is like a bit more expensive. Gamzly, how many are you going to buy?
The Series S that's been revealed, just to jump in quickly, is this. It's the same as the 1 terabyte model in black, but in white instead.
Yeah.
My enthusiasm for these consoles is as high as my enthusiasm to live, because how poor this whole show was.
Organic Gamzly, what's he saying? What's Organic Gamzly saying?
No, I actually saw the consoles and I was like, this didn't need to be here. But also, it's Call of Duty, and they're probably going to market this thing side by side.
I think they do, though. Like I said at the start of the show, I think it was really important that they did have that hardware offering in there and a few more hardware options.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
Like I said,
well, her words are better. Her words were like they showed the SKU, which we know is probably going to come anyway, but like them being side by side, her words saying even again like, hey, we got more, we're committed, so just her words was bigger than the consoles itself or whatever. But yeah, I
think if you were a former Xbox player and you heard about E-Day and you had also heard about Call of Duty featuring at the show and potentially coming in the Game Pass, but I'm also operating that line of thinking under the assumption that they already know what Game Pass is, they should know what Game Pass is by the end of that show, by the sheer amount of times they said. And I think it was a total of 17 of the 30 game show, all coming into Game Pass. And I don't think that includes some of the like season updates or any like the Starfield DLC, which technically you could say is in Game Pass if you access it through Game Pass and had the expansion, whatever. You should come away from that show knowing what Game Pass is, or having a better awareness of what Game Pass is, and a better awareness of what hardware Xbox offers as a way and means for you to get into that ecosystem and start enjoying all the stuff that they've shown you. From that point, I think Xbox did a really good job to position a slightly more flexible hardware offering. But there is one criticism there, and that's the pricing for these models haven't been confirmed yet, but they were on an Xbox Wire post. And the thing that I really want to question and understand why is why the hell is the I may be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure that all digital white Xbox Series X with a 1 terabyte drive costs exactly the same as the current 1 terabyte console with a disk drive. I think that might be a typo or some sort of admin error, because they haven't actually announced pricing yet, but they did.
I thought the pricing was public for those.
I think it's public, but they've not really like broadcast it properly. But I think it was on the Xbox Wire site. I don't know. The pricing for me doesn't add up. They've also,
it's a weird time.
2 terabyte model was like £600.
Yeah, it's a weird time for the industry. It's a weird time for the industry in general, because like we're talking about, there's no price cuts anywhere, man.
No,
like
not at all.
Before you would see the price cut, but now it's not. It's just staying flat or increasing, which is a sign of terrible things that are real. So, but point is, anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
They do call the two white consoles, they refer to the color as robot white, and as representative of the robots, I resent that. That's a terrible color for a console. So that's all I've got to say about the hardware, really. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to quickly bash through, and we'll try and get these through quickly because, you know, we run fairly long. The community questions. So if we've had some questions submitted, either if you are still there and awake and with us, if you could put the first question up, we'll bash through that. And then it's nearly go time. So, do you remember at the start of the show when there was those audio issues? Oh, it feels so long ago.
All I remember is the will to once live as a happy human boy.
It'll fade. It'll pass. Give it a bit more time.
Oh my god. Is Isla alive? Isla.
She may have left. So, is there anything else that you wanted to say about the weekend before?
She's here.
Oh, they're coming in. Here we go. First question. World-renowned Geohound. This is one that had a little note on it earlier. I can't actually remember the note. It says, I once again find myself feeling slightly gaslit. Why do I not see more honest skepticism over the gameplay shown by Fable, State of Decay, and Perfect Dark? Those reveals are plastered with red flags. World-renowned Geohound is... See, I'd say the Perfect Dark gameplay, skeptical. I wouldn't say there were too many red flags in there. I understand very much skepticism of the other two, though. State of Decay is very much just 2 or 3 seconds maximum before they blend it back into a trailer. And Fable is not at a gameplay stage yet, so...
State of Decay showing was a little bit iffy. I was okay with Fable's showing because I'm still expecting to see more of that. I think they showed more gameplay than they did last time. But I understand the dubiousness around it.
Yeah. I also get why you want to be skeptical about it. You know, Xbox hasn't been really landing the plane, you know, every single time. They show these games in a certain light and then they land and they're kind of iffy. But I don't think this is one of those moments. This is not a Redfall moment. This is not a Halo Greg moment. Craig or Greg? I don't freaking know. Craig. This is not one of those moments. The games just look really gorgeous. They look great. And we know what those games are. We know what to expect. So the lack of State of Decay 3, we know what that is. We know what that game is. And Fable, I mean, they kind of did show a good portion, and I was happy with it. And what was the other one? Perfect Dark. I mean, Perfect Dark, I don't know. It looked pretty good to me. So yeah, I don't know.
Like
I don't blame you for being skeptical on it, but
yeah, in terms of it not being a red flag moment like Redfall was, I would say if it were going to play out like Redfall, it would play out exactly as we've seen. Like there is every possibility and every potential that these games do disappoint us at the end of the day, but I haven't seen anything concerning in there.
Yeah,
like
worrying.
The games mentioned are all a ways out, and we will get more opportunities to see them properly ahead of release. So I'm not ready to plant the skepticism just yet. But, Deadly Headley, you were going to say something?
For what we got for Perfect Dark, I was quite impressed because I wasn't expecting nearly that much. Like I said earlier, when we talked about Perfect Dark, I thought it looked quite scripted, and it still felt like a work in progress job for me. But what was presented really, really well, despite the fact that I could tell it was in a very tightly contained and controlled environment, but there's clear reasons for that. It's still work in progress. It's not really a red flag for me at this point.
But at the same time, I do understand.
If it showed like that, 6 months from release, but we're not
there.
And
you can understand skepticism in general, though, for the showcase, for people to be saying like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to rate the showcase, for that to translate into games hitting the kind of ratings that you want, and that feeling when you actually receive the product, there is some road still to tread on that one before we get them. So I get what you're saying, Wadrin and Geohound. I'm gonna lean into optimism for the time being, but I get what you're saying. So, next question, please. It's already there. Mistro001, what is your favourite or most anticipated game from the showcase? Mine is Fable. Here's his Fable. What about you two?
Yeah,
also
Fable 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Mine's whatever comes out next. I love all of the games. So,
what? Next question. Next question. Hit that next question. I can't wait to answer.
Do the next question.
Yeah. Just.
What is the next question?
Just do that.
Why do I feel like you know what this is?
Name a good Fable casting and character type. We've had a few of those in chat already. People yelling names of people that they would like to see and what kind of character they would be. Deadly Headley, you're British actors.
This is a bit of a niche one, especially if you're outside of the UK. There's a comedian in the UK. I think I can't remember where he was from originally. I want to say he might be from Zimbabwe, but I think I've got that wrong. But his name is Munya Chawawa. He's a really, really funny comedian.
Real. That's not real.
No, it's spelled. It's MUNYACHAWAWA. I think something like that. Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, that spelling was correct. He's very, very funny. I actually think he would be cast really, really well. In a Fable game. Some of the other suggestions that came up in chat were David Mitchell, again another actor from Peep Show. He would be iconic in Fable. I think he'd be a fantastic. Isla just confirming that I did actually get his ethnicity and country of origin right. So I'm really glad I got all of that correct, because I feel like an arsehole if I get it wrong. David Mitchell would be a really cool addition. Russell Howard was another one suggested in chat. Sean Locke, who is a comedian who passed away a few years ago, would also be fantastic. Matt Berry is another name that's come up. Gamzly, Matt Berry voiced Cogsworth in the Fallout series.
Oh, that's cool. But how about you name all the other actors in the world? So that
it's a big game, Gamzly.
No, I'm kidding.
We might be here a while, and we've already run an hour and a half over time. But if you want, we've got Brad Pitt.
I'm kidding.
George Clooney.
No, please, God.
Ryan Reynolds.
The Gamzly, who's your
My
one?
pick. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds
Okay.
would actually be really good in Fable.
Next question.
I haven't answered yet. I'm going way unexpected. I'm going to go Jamie Carragher as a random shopkeeper. As in football pundit, Liverpool and football pundit. It'll be awful. But whatever. I don't know actors and people. I don't know footballers either. So that's my answer. Next question, please. It's already there. Yeah, Gamzly.
Gamzly, I can't stress this enough, bro. Please watch Peep Show this week, please. Like,
I wish
it just.
Oh,
I wish Deadly didn't actually name all the British people in the world, so I could actually chosen one, you know, and then
Asa.
That's why I went Jamie Carragher, the only other British person I could think of. It was that or the Dark Knight. So, Tom, actually, I'll put the Dark Knight in there. That'll be fun. So, Tom has asked, when you're on the start screen and a game says press any button, which button do you press?
A.
Do you?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I do B all the time.
Nobody does B. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about?
Hey,
Gamzly, you're a liar.
I have different fingers, Asa.
Yeah, but you got the same buttons and you don't press B. I don't believe you.
Bold of you to play that card, by the way, Gamzly. You almost go away with it too.
No. Everyone presses either A or start. There are no other buttons that anybody presses in that scenario. So if we were to do a poll, it would include A, start, and any other button, and nobody would vote any other button. Not even you, Gamzly. You're a liar.
This is insulting. So insulting. Ah, what a robot. All right, you're right. It's A. Fuck, it's A. It's always
Southwick.
Question works.
The next question is perfect. When will Gamzly get the respect he deserves? He's getting exactly the respect he deserves. Stephen Southwick. He's earned it.
Well timed. Abused. That's what I deserve.
And Replicant has asked, if the hardware rumors are correct, then there's a good chance that games like E-Day, Perfect Dark will be next gen if they hit in 2026. Thoughts on that? It does tie into the Gears of War E-Day trailer and things that they've said around that game in particular, because I think it was the Coalition directly came out and said that their environments and character models have 100 times the detail of Gears of War 5, which was already a very, very pretty game. And it also has ray tracing for its shadows, its lighting, and its reflections. Pretty sweet feature list, but no mention of what hardware they were talking about when they said it. And then there was the whole conversation on Twitter around whether the trailer was real time or not, because Jeff Keighley came under fire for saying some things. One of the I can't remember. Some chap came out and accused him of not giving the Coalition enough credit for what they'd put together, and it turned out he hadn't actually misspoken at all. It was a bit of a mess, but that's Twitter. It is a bit of a mess. I don't recommend anybody ever looks or reads anything on that platform. What do you reckon?
Facts. Unless you're following us. But other than that, yeah. I think there will be cross-gen titles. It kind of sucks to think that a Gears of War game effectively misses its opportunity to release a title dedicated to that specific generation and just jump to the hypothetical next generation. Again, it will be a cross-party. It would be a cross-gen title, so it would be supported by whatever the next generation of hardware is and released simultaneously on Series X and S. It's a weird conversation because I think I believe the rumors about Xbox possibly wanting to put out a next hardware generation in 2026. I buy that. I think it's a good assessment, and it's an interesting strategy that it could consider as a means of starting a next generation early and having more more distinction between it and its counterparts by dictating that time in which it goes, all right, yeah, we're ready for another step forward. But yeah, it's kind of sad to think, you know, there's a Gears game that didn't get its own time to shine on series hardware, if it's also then having to look at being ported to another game or not. But, you know, does it matter? I don't know. Where are you guys at on it? Do you get where I'm coming from?
I'm a little bit sorry, Asa. I'm a little bit immune to it because I love Xbox and consoles, but I play on everything. Like I play on PC, so I'm used to it. Like always just being okay. Like I'm ready. So I never really cared.
That's normal now, I think. How about you, Asa?
I have been expecting the Xbox hardware to come sooner rather than later for a little while. So 2026 will be the latest I would think we'll see it. They've put a lot of work into being able to launch hardware smoothly without a massive generational shift and drop in player base. All of these games that we're seeing will definitely release on the current hardware, and everything for a couple of years after the new hardware comes out, like at least, will still be releasing on the Xbox Series consoles as well, Series S included. So yeah, we'll get new hardware. It's a fair question on what is the target hardware for the trailers that we're seeing at this showcase. Is that what we can expect? We can't expect that Gears of War trailer from the Series X, but typically across the board, like, is this Series X targeted visuals, or are you showing us the future? And that is an unanswered question and a fair question. But yeah, excited for whatever. Let's have the next question, if there is another one.
No.
Tony, I almost want to ignore Tony's question because he said that on the press any button screen he clicks the left stick. So Tony can't be trusted because that's clearly not true. 19 games coming 2024. Will you have enough time to play all of them before the end of the year? Simple answer, Tony. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No. Sad face.
It's the best first world problem ever, and I'm really happy about it. I have more games than I know what to do with, and I love that. I sort of think that might be some kind of like maniacal trick that Xbox is playing on its users to keep them paying for Game Pass, because they have too much content to get through.
Yeah, that's always the problem. But I'll have a time restriction in a different. Yeah, I'll have a different time restriction. Is getting Tony into D&D and Asa into D&D, and we'll be playing dress up as wizards, and that's why I won't have all that time.
So we're not going to play any of them. We're going back to tabletop. None of the games are getting played.
A serious question: Could we run at some point in the future, because I do not have the free time now, a Gaming Arcadia D&D session that we could stream?
I'm gonna get that going.
We'd be looking at like 4-hour streams once a week, and fucking exhausting.
I'm gonna get that going, whether Asa's robot heart wants that or not. I'm gonna get into him, whatever that means. Don't clip that. Oh, god damn it! I'm tired. Get me out.
Right. Next question, if there are any more. And yes, we will. So people asking, Chronic saying that you'll definitely watch it. Chronic, you need to watch it. You can join in. You'll enjoy it with us. There is already a thread on the Discord forums trying to get the Dungeons and Dragons group together. And we're going to be dabbling and figuring it all out in the near future. But yes, we'll try and get something more grand going on that one as well. We have run out of questions, which is good because it's 20 to 12. So...
Fuck.
Yeah.
Is that late for you guys? That's weird.
Not for me. I don't really sleep. Gamzly is like part of being a robot, isn't it? So
I fucking knew you would say that.
Gamzly. The outro time. Deadly Headley thank you for coming and talking Xbox Showcase and all of these games for as long as you have. It has been a good, fun show. I hope everybody watching has enjoyed it, but please tell everyone how much you love them and where they can find you.
Thank you for having me too. This has been a really, really fun show. I've really enjoyed this one. I really enjoy every show that we do, but this has been the first time that we have covered a showcase. It's been one hell of a showcase to cover. And I've really, really enjoyed this one. So yeah, thank you. This has been really good. My name is Deadly Headley. You can find me here every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, or 12 p.m. Pacific. Please make sure that you hit the like and subscribe buttons on the way out, and please also make sure that you go and have you go and check out my YouTube channel, which is Deadly Headley. I would love to see more of you guys there, and if you are gonna hop over and check out my channel, please make sure that you come and say hi in the comments and leave likes and subscribes and all that sort of stuff. I am trying really, really hard, or as best as I can, to start writing more content more frequently and put more content out. In a month's time, I will be celebrating my 1-year anniversary as a content creator, which is really, really exciting. And in that time, I have amassed just over 860 subscribers. My goal is to hit 1,000 by the 18th of July, which is my 1-year anniversary. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure that you go and do. I also need to start putting some content out more regularly, which will hopefully help with views and subscriptions and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, the goal is get to 1,000 subs by mid-July. So if you want to help me do that, please do. You can also find me on Twitter at deadlyheadley_. That's about it. Just, you can find me there.
I think, yeah, please do that. It deserves the support. It puts a load of effort into the videos when they are arriving. So check out his channel, Gamzly.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to invite you to do an outro or not. I might just skip over and move on. Look, be organic, Gamzly. Yes. Oh shit, something's happening. Sorry about the weird little notification by my face there. Gamzly, tell people how much you love them and where they can find you. What are you up to?
Well, if you learn how to love, or you find love in your heart, you can follow me here every Thursday. I'll be in this channel talking about Xbox games on the Xbox Series podcast at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, I can't do it. Okay, every Thursday you can find me talking about Xbox. On Gaming Arcadia YouTube channel for the Xbox Series podcast at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do the math. I don't care about the UK people. Jokes on you guys. No, I love you guys. So check me out there. And also, you can follow me at Gamzly TKD on X to hear about any other podcast. Oh my god, I almost died. Any other podcast that I might be doing. So follow me there to read about the news. Yeah, Double Barreled Gaming on Mondays at lunch. And that's about it for now. And of course, every day on the Discord. No, every day on the Discord. Gaming Arcadia Discord. What's up?
Trust me.
Peep. Peepity
You have to watch Peep Show.
Boop boop.
Have to watch Peep Show. Asa, tell him.
Peep.
Yeah, try it, Gamzly. Give it a watch.
It's very, very good.
I don't understand anything but zeros and ones, Asa.
Perfect. My outro. You cannot find me anywhere. I do not exist. We'll see you next time.